Crowd continues to gather in anticipation of a possible historic event as we greet you from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. Sports Channel Florida presents Baseball Night in Florida. Brought to you by Bell South. Tonight, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays meet the Cleveland Indians. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to an evening of Devil Rays baseball with Joe McGrain. I'm Dwayne Statz. Great to have you with us. The Devil Rays and the Indians going at it again tonight. Of course, Wade Boggs just 3 hits away from 3,000, and the Devil Rays coming off a victory last night 4-2. And we continue to see Fred McGriff in the middle of the Devil Ray lineup. People wondered when Jose Canseco went out of the lineup at the All-Star break what effect that would have on Fred McGriff. Well, he's only hitting over 400 since the break.
I tell you what, I think if Larry Rothschild had the luxury with Jose Canseco in the lineup, he may be sitting Freddie a couple of days to give that strained quadriceps a chance to heal. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference in what he's been able to do up at the plate. He is absolutely as locked in as he has been at any point in the season. He's been getting some singles. He's been not too many doubles, and hopefully when Freddie gets it going, that he'll be able to get a couple balls up into the air and over the boards and let some of that power really start to come forth. Anytime that he gets really hot at the plate, that usually means there's some home runs to come.
As we discussed last night with this Cleveland Indian ball club, lots of run production. Manny Ramirez sits there in the middle of this lineup, leading the majors in RBIs, full of confidence. He's a very aggressive hitter.
He's an aggressive hitter, and he is also a big money hitter. He leads the American League in game-winning RBIs. That's an important stat. Not the guy that you want to see up there late in a ball game, in a close game with runners in scoring position. Actually, he was hit in the head by Tigers' Jeff Weaver, and a lot of the pitchers around the league have been trying to unnerve him by throwing inside. With the results that he's put up and the runs that he has batted in, you'd be hard-pressed to believe that it's been working.
Our pitching matchup tonight, a couple of right-handers as we check this, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Devil Rays will have the right-hander Bobby Witt with a mark of 6-7. Charlie Negi, who is 12-7 on the hill for the Cleveland Indians tonight. We'll be back with the first pitch from Tropicana Field in just a moment. From Tropicana Field, the Devil Rays and the Indians go at it again tonight off the Devil Ray victory 4-2 last night. Bobby Witt on the hill for the Rays tonight against Charles Negi, and we'll check out the Bell South starting lineup for Cleveland. They have Dave Roberts, who's just been added to the roster in center field. Omar Vizquel will hit second, followed by Roberto Alomar. Manny Ramirez, Jim Thome, and Dave Justice down the middle. Saxon, Branyan, and Diaz to round out the lineup for Cleveland.
And as we look at the Devil Rays defense, Tony Graffinino at second base has been so impressive with his footwork around the bag that we may see him playing shortstop in the next couple of days to a week. He's going to be behind Bobby Witt, who leads the Rays in innings pitched and strikeouts. He's coming off his last start against the Oakland A's, where he was knocked out of the box through 3 innings. And with this team, this Cleveland Indian lineup, Bobby Witt has had a lot of guys in this lineup who have hit him pretty well, so he'll have to be locating very well.
Laz Diaz will be calling the balls and strikes of this one tonight. Richie Garcia, Mike Riley, and Brian Honora rounding out the crew. Here's Dave Roberts making his major league debut for the Indians, and the first pitch is a strike call. Roberts, Vizquel, and then Alomar against Bobby Witt. And a ground ball right back to the mound. Witt with a toss to Sorrento, and that takes care of Roberts. One gone. Roberts on this club is Jacob Cruz, was placed on the disabled list with torn ligaments in his right thumb. He was injured in last night's game in that play at second base. Now Omar Vizquel. Vizquel among the top 10 in the league in hitting. Shortens on the bat, and that pitch is in there for a strike. Vizquel hitting .331. He had 3 hits last night, went 3 out of 5 to move his average up over the .330 level. There's a strike call, and Bobby Witt comes out here throwing strikes.
He comes out here throwing strikes, and he comes out here really, the ball's really jumping out of his hand pretty well. Certain sense of more energy in his delivery.
There's a long fly ball down the right field line. That ball is going to be foul. How about that? An 0-2 pitch, and Vizquel hit it deep down the right field line and just foul. Let's see how close that was.
It's a little bit of a different angle, but you can definitely tell that it was close.
Which is upstairs. So the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Well, it's not horseshoes.
Or well, never mind.
Yeah. The 1-2. Up and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes here. As you mentioned, Joe, Bobby Witt's coming off the loss in Oakland. Prior to that, his last outing, last win before the Oakland start, was that 7-0 4-hit shutout over Anaheim. Now he just missed, and the count's going to go all the way to 3-2 here on Vizquel.
We'll say one thing, though, if Bobby Witt is getting that pitch, that's going to take him a long way against these left-handed Indians hitters. Just missed.
3 balls, 2 strikes. And the pitch. Ball 4 outside. So Vizquel draws the base on balls.
Well, you can almost tell the way Bobby took that throw back from John Klarity that he thought the 2-2 pitch was a good pitch, was it? He thought it was strike 3. Here is that 2-2 pitch in question. That's the 3-2 pitch. But after he received the throw back, you could tell he was disappointed that he did not get the 2-2 pitch.
Of course, the Devil Rays had a little problem last night when Brian Honora ejected Larry Rothschild in the 6th inning of the ball game. Larry arguing balls and strikes, and you can't do that. Over to first, the runner Vizquel is back in.
Well, you can do it, but you can do it until the umpire says, hey, that's enough.
Yeah, you can't do it very long. Vizquel with a lead. Now the pitch to Roberto Alomar, and that's too high. 1 ball and no strikes. We were very honored that Larry said he watched the game on television, but I really wonder. I mean, he's an honest guy, and we have to take him at his word. And I'm sure he did, as opposed to maybe station himself up in the tunnel somewhere. There's ball 2 to Alomar. 2 balls, no strikes the count, and Klarity goes out to have a word with Bobby Witt. Bobby seemed to be in great shape. He got ahead with a strike to Roberts, got him on the comebacker, got ahead of Vizquel 0-2, and that's when Vizquel hit that long foul ball down the right field line. Nothing but pitches out of the strike zone since then. Here's one inside, 3-0.
Well, you see Bobby Witt taking his hand out of his glove early. What he's trying to do there is to get his arm out in front of his body, to get ahead of his body. But sometimes when he takes it out of the glove, he takes it out, he starts, and then he stops, and then he starts it back up again, and that's tough to time.
There's a strike in there. Alomar taking, and it's 3-1.
You want to prepare to throw the baseball hopefully over 90 miles an hour. It's tough to do when you start it out of the glove and then you stop it and then you restart it again.
Runners going on the 3-1 pitch, and it's down and in for ball 4. Klarity was ready to come out of the chute, but the pitch low and inside, so back-to-back walks. And against the Indians, this is the last thing Larry Rothschild wants to see out of his starting pitcher Bobby Witt tonight.
Well, especially when he is going to face Manny Ramirez, who leads the American League and runs batted in, who knows how to hit with runners in scoring position, and it's not an easy feeling if you're a pitcher who has walked 2 guys in a row and you need to locate against a very good hitter.
Ramirez at .316 with 27 home runs and 108 runs batted in. Devil Rays pitched him tough last night. He fouls this one, a roller down in front of Brian Graham, the first base coach, for a strike. You mentioned Ramirez being hit by a pitch, and that does not prevent him from being aggressive. He sticks his head right in the middle of things down there. He's always moving toward the plate.
Diving towards the plate so he can handle that pitch on the outer half. And as a pitcher, you just have to put some fear in him by coming in and off the plate. But Bobby Witt really not in a situation where he can really do much of that.
There's a drive it deep to center field. Lowry's going to run out of room on this one. That ball is out of here. home run off the bat of Manny Ramirez, his 28th of the year, and Cleveland breaks out in front 3-0. The two walks, Vizquel and Alomar, scoring in front of Ramirez on the home run, and just like that, the Indians have an early lead.
Well, this is why if you get a chance that you'd like to throw a ball in and off the plate to Manny Ramirez, because he strides out and can handle that slider on the outside part of the plate. Handle it. He handled it more than that. He hit it over the center field fence.
Now Jim Thome. Thome takes a pitch inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Thome at first base tonight. And the pitch is down. A 2 ball, no strike count. The 16th home run of the year given up by Bobby Witt. And Manny Ramirez left little doubt with that one. The 2-0 pitch. Down for ball 3, 3-0. Witt way behind to Thome with David Justice on deck. Ground ball right side off the 3-0 pitch. Graffinino to Sorrento to take care of Thome. So Thome on the green light, 3-0, bounces out to second.
And that's huge for Bobby Witt, struggling 3-0 count, trying to find the strike zone, and to have Thome roll over on a 3-0 pitch. That has to help.
So let's see if he can recover. Here's David Justice, the designated hitter. Justice hitting .302, 0 for 3 last night. And the pitch lined up the right side, foul just outside the right field line. Well, the Indians breaking out in front 3-0. Vizquel walked, Alomar walked, and then on an 0-1 pitch, Manny Ramirez hit it a mile to center field. The pitch is wide. 1 ball, 1 strike. Justice laying off the off-speed pitch. Witt with a strike to get the advantage now, 1-2.
And a good pitch right there from Bobby Witt, a changeup. That's a pitch that against this lineup he's going to have in play, or at least have it in the mind of these Indians hitters that he is going to change speeds and not just go fastball slider.
Upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, if that's all these guys see, their eyes really light up. They love to swing the bats. Leading the major leagues in runs scored starting play tonight, the Indians. Foul ball, just a piece of it. So Justice is still alive with a 2-2 count. Devil Rays give Justice right center field. Lowry shaded a bit toward left center. Martinez straight away and right. There is ball 3, too low. Full count. Now this has not been an easy club through the years for Bobby Witt. He's 5-16 lifetime against the Indians.
You see the direction of outfield hits. David Justice, a dead pull hitter, a changeup would be a pretty good pitch to him if he could get it over.
And the 3-2. A base hit through the right side. So Justice comes up with the second hit of the inning to keep the inning going.
Now with Bobby already walking 2 in the inning through that 3-2 slider, almost being very strike conscious and not wanting to throw ball 4.
And with that, the Devil Ray bullpen will break into action. Rick Williams, the pitching coach, is headed to the mound. Richie Saxon is going to be the hitter. And Brian Ricard starts to loose hit in the Devil Rays bullpen.
Fans, be sure to stick around and right after the ball game for the Florida Power post-game laser show.
So Bobby Witt
right after tonight's ball game.
in trouble here. He gave up the 3-run blast to Ramirez. Williams, of course, taking as much time as he can to give Ricard added time in the bullpen. And Richie Saxon will be the hitter. This is somewhat reminiscent of that start Bobby made against the Yankees when he left in the 2nd inning. Touched for 4 runs on 5 hits that time. So Saxon becomes a very important hitter with 2 outs in the 1st. And there's a strike. Saxon at .253 for the year with 22 home runs. Nothing in 2. The 2 walks in the inning have cost Witt. Now he's ahead of Saxon, trying to get out of the 1st. Checking the damage at 3. Upstairs with a fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Witt on the delivery, swinging at a foul ball by Saxon. Last night we had a scoreless game until the Devil Rays broke out in front with an unearned run in the 4th inning. Eventually came back to win it 4-2. They're going to have to play catch up tonight. The 1-2 delivery. Line drive, and it's going to be grabbed by Ledesma. Hard hit ball. Ledesma grabs it to retire the side. 3 for Cleveland. Bottom of the 1st coming. The Devil Rays coming in to hit. Welcome back to Tropicana Field. The Devil Rays come in to face the right-hander Charles Negi, who will be making his 22nd start of the year. And the Rays find themselves down by 3 as we check out the Bell South starting lineup for the Devil Rays tonight. Terrell Lowry leads off, followed by Wade Boggs and Tony Graffinino. Freddie McGriff remains the DH. Trammell, Sorrento, Klarity, Martinez, and Ledesma completing the Devil Ray lineup.
And as we look at the Cleveland Indians defense, Richie Saxon, the highly heralded left fielder for the Indians in October, probably going to be playing first base as Jim Thome will move over in DH when Travis Fryman comes back, and he's going to be behind Charlie Negi, the workhorse of the Cleveland Indians staff, who's coming off 8 innings of work where he took the loss in a game against the Chicago White Sox. Good sinker ball, fork ball, and good command of his breaking ball. Will throw a lot of strikes.
Terrell Lowry steps in to try to get it started for the Devil Rays, and the first pitch he takes is off the plate, down and away. 1 ball and no strikes. As you know, Lowry has been very good since returning from Durham. He was hitless last night, 0 for 4, but had a good road trip and fouls this one right back into the screen, so the count is 1-1. Terrell hitting .311 to start play tonight. The Devil Rays start tonight 45-64. Oh, that was a pitch that Lowry chased, and we go to 1-2.
Really didn't come very close to it at all, as a matter of fact.
The 1-2 out there again. This time Diaz breaking out to stay in front of it, and the count goes to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Out outfield spread out. They do have Dave Roberts a couple steps toward right field. Ground ball up the right side, out of play. The count is still 2-2. The Rays looking at Charlie Negi tonight. If you look back over the past 5 years or so, he is about as consistent a winning pitcher and as reliable as the Indians have had in their rotation. Lowry fouls this one out of play, holding the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, he knows the type of team that he has is going to score some runs, so he's going to challenge a lot of hitters in the strike zone. He's not going to want to put a lot of guys on. Only has 40 walks in 126 innings, so he's going to make him hit the ball, and at times is plagued by the long ball.
2-2 and a ground ball headed to short. Scooped by Vizquel, and his throw to Tomies in time to retire Terrell Lowry. So with 1 out and the base is empty, here's Wade Boggs. Wade starting the homestand, needing 3 hits to get to 3,000. In last night's game, Wade was nothing out of 3, drawing a walk. And here he is stepping in against Charles Negi. The first pitch, Wade looks at a strike. Negi has not been an easy pitcher through the years for Wade Boggs. Matter of fact, he's one of the tougher pitchers against Wade. Wade hitting just .204 lifetime against him, and bounces this one to the right side for Alomar, and the throw to first is in time. So Wade out his first time up tonight on the bouncer to second.
Second baseman, number 26, Tony Gwynn.
So Wade continues to chase the 3,000 mark. 21 major league hitters at that level right now. Here's Tony Gwynn. Maggie into the wind, and the pitch, it's too low. 1 ball and no strikes. Negi, give you an idea about how long he sticks around in a game. He's made 21 starts and has 19 decisions this year. There's a fly ball, right center field. Ramirez and Roberts making the call, and he's got it to retire the side. We're at the end of an inning tonight at the Trop with the score 3-0 Cleveland. Indians leading the Devil Rays as we head into the second inning. Sports Channel Florida and the Devil Rays would like to welcome viewers watching tonight's game on Time Warner in Tampa, St. Petersburg, and the surrounding areas. Thanks for your support of Sports Channel Florida and Tampa Bay Devil Rays baseball. Well, Bobby Witt had a prolonged first inning, over 30 pitches in that frame, touched for the 3-run home run by the right fielder Manny Ramirez. And here in the second inning, Russell Branyan will lead it off. Branyan, then Diaz and Roberts. Branyan, pretty good power. He's been one of these strike out or hit it out kind of guys so far. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. He does have a home run. That came off David Cone, his first. 1 ball and 1 strike.
It's a good guy to hit your first home run off of. He can brag about that with pride for a long time.
Bobby Witt shoots it home, and he jams him. A foul ball up the other side, 1-2.
Well, you see Branyan when he goes into the ball and just kind of really loads it up and takes those hands back, and as you said it, Dwayne, has that feast or famine type swing right now.
He has some incredible numbers in the minor leagues at Buffalo. He had just 220 there. And a swing and a miss. He's out on strikes. He hit 29 home runs in 92 games and struck out 165 times. That's hit it out or strike it out territory.
You know, Bobby Witt was able to see how he swung at that slider, that he could sneak a fastball by him, and he just blew it right by him, basically.
That's the first out here in the second. Einar Diaz, the catcher, breaks his bat, bounces it down to third for Wade Boggs, who makes the play. The bat disintegrated. It exploded. And Diaz is the second out.
Center fielder, number 52, Dave Roberts.
Bobby gets right in on the hands, and it just dissolves the bat of Einar Diaz. Almost blew it up.
See, the bottom part of that is nowhere to be found now. Just completely disintegrated. Here's Dave Roberts, top of the order, taking a pitch down. 1 ball and no strikes. A strikeout and a ground out. 2 up, 2 down in the second inning. Upstairs with a hard stuff. 2 balls and no strikes. Dave Roberts up from Buffalo of the International League. Shortens on the bat and takes the pitch high. So the count is 3-0. Kenny Lofton was placed on the disabled list as well with that strained right hamstring, along with Jacob Cruz, who has the torn ligament in his right thumb. There's a strike, and the count is 3-1. So Dave Roberts recalled, along with Holbert Cabrera, the infielder outfielder. The Indians making a couple roster moves here. Now the 3-1 pitch on its way to Roberts, and he lines it over the head of Ledesma into left center for a base hit and maybe more. He'll make the turn and head for 2 and make it ahead of the throw. A 2-base hit for Dave Roberts. A line drive over the shortstop's head, and he runs it into a double. So Roberts, up from the minor leagues, making his debut with the Indians here, and he picks up his first hit, a double.
And he just kind of slices it into left center field, and you can definitely tell once the ball was off the bat that this guy can run a little bit into the left center field gap, and before it can go to the wall, Lowry stops it and flicks it back in towards second base, but he was easily into second.
And here's Omar Vizquel. He walked his first time and rode home on the Ramirez home run. The pitch is too low. 1 ball and no strikes. One to nothing the count on Vizquel. Strike called. It's 1-1. And with Vizquel, we start that string of hitters in the Cleveland lineup with averages better when you put runners in scoring position than they are overall, and they start with some pretty healthy averages to begin with. The 1-1 foul out of play. That's going to take the count to 1-2.
I think one of the reasons that they've become such good hitters with runners in scoring position is if you take any one of these guys like Alomar, Justice, or Manny Ramirez, and you put them separate, they'd be outstanding hitters. But when you put all of them together as a group, the pitcher doesn't know which guy to bail out and which guy to really go after, and as a result they all end up seeing pretty good pitches to hit with runners on base.
The 1-2 left it back into center field for Lowry, who backed up. Now he'll have to readjust and comes in to make the catch, and that retires the side. Bottom of inning 2 coming. 3-0 Cleveland. Welcome back as we go into the Devil Ray half of the second. Rays down by a count of 3-0. Here's an invitation to join several of the Devil Ray players and coaches after the game tomorrow in the Cuesta Ray Cigar Bar for the second annual Cuesta Ray Devil Rays Charity Smoker. Tickets are $75, include an outfield ticket to the afternoon game against the Cleveland Ball Club, as well as food, wine, beer, and the Cuesta Ray cigars. For information, call 888-FAN-RAYS. Fred McGriff will open the bottom half of inning 2 against Charles Negi. Fred is 7th in the league and hitting at .333. And he takes a look at the first pitch outside, 1-0. He's 3 out of 10 lifetime against Negi with a home run. Strike call at the knees. 1-1. Transworld Diversified Services going to bat for the Pediatric Cancer Foundation. So far, a donation of $38,500 based on Fred McGriff's offensive numbers. And there's a drive hit high back into right field. Ramirez all the way to the track for this one, and he's going to make the catch for the out. Fred McGriff lifting one all the way back to the track. Couple steps left for Ramirez before he hit the wall.
Freddie just so close to hitting that one out of the ballpark. Just got that one just a little bit out front where most of his power had already flashed through the zone. See, he gets his ball just a little bit too early and out in front of the plate. Just missed it.
Here's Bubba Trammell. And the pitch to him is down. 1 ball to no strikes. Bubba with a 6-game hitting streak now. He double home a run in the 4th inning last night. Was on 3 times. That 2-base hit to go with a pair of bases on balls. 2 balls, no strikes the count here in the 2nd inning. The right-hander's pitch. Bubba takes this one wide. 3 balls and no strikes. The pitch is a strike. 3-1 now. Devil Rays against Negi 1-1. That covers 3 starts prior to this one. And the pitch is down, ball 4. So Bubba Trammell draws another walk. And the Devil Rays have their first base runner of the night.
First baseman, number 44.
That will bring along Paul Sorrento. Well, he's hitting .234. Getting a few starts at first base with Fred McGriff in the DH role. And Sorrento fouls one the other way out of play. A strike the count. Maggie's start this year against the Devil Rays came up at Jacobs Field, and the game started by Esteban Yan in early May. The 0-1 pitch. High. 1 ball and 1 strike. Devil Rays won that game. Brian Ricard came away with a victory in that one, and in that contest the Rays picked up 10 hits and scored 5 runs off Negi in 3 2/3 innings. 2 balls and a strike to count.
See, Paulie's had some good numbers against the Indians.
And the 2-1 delivery is down for ball 3. 3 balls and a strike. McGriff hit one to the warning track in right field ahead of the walk drawn by Bubba Trammell. Paulie Sorrento. And he takes this one down and in. So back-to-back walks, and the Devil Rays will get the tying run to the plate in the person of John Klarity. So Klarity back behind the plate tonight, starting the contest, hitting .278. 0 for his last 11 spread over his last 3 games.
And when we have seen John struggle, when he tries to get himself out of it, he tries to be very aggressive early in the count and looking for that first fastball that he can take a whack at. And Charlie Negi, who normally is around the plate, may give him that opportunity.
Here's the pitch from the right-hander, outside and low. Maggie staying with the off-speed stump, breaking that one outside. Klarity has had a great recovery this year at the plate. He takes this one in for a strike. 1-1.
You see a lot of pitchers knowing, like guys like Mike DeFelice, John Flaherty, who love to hit fastball strikes, and as a result pitchers try to make that adjustment by getting those breaking balls over the plate. If they don't and they're behind in the count and they have to come in there, both of these guys are always ready to hit the fastball.
Flaherty lifts this one down the right side, foul and headed out of play. The count is 1-2. Maggie, since the All-Star break, has gone 1-3 in the second half of the year with an earned run average of better than 6. And during that time, he's had some soreness in that right shoulder. He's had to nurse his way through that.
He was able to go 8 innings against the White Sox in his last start, although giving up 5 runs and taking the loss. That certainly has to be a good sign for the Indians if he does have that stiff shoulder still going deep into the game.
Here's the 1-2 pitch, low and away, rolls away from Diaz, and now they're going to get Trammell hung up. Trammell is tagged out. Branyan, the third baseman, who had trouble corralling the ball, actually wound up recovering and then tagging out Bubba Trammell between second and third.
Well, it's a tough read for a runner on second base as the ball just kind of squirts off just the right shoe of Diaz. It's tough for him to really perceive how deep that ball is, whether it went all the way to the backstop, and you see he's a little bit hesitating right here, a little bit unsure, and when you're unsure on the bases, it's usually instant death.
So it goes 2-5. Bubba Trammell, the second out of the inning. So the Devil Rays lose one of those base runners. Sorrento left aboard at first with 2 gone. The count to Flaherty is 2-2. And a ground ball headed to short. Vizquel with the flip to Alomar retires the side. We're at the end of 2, 3-0 Cleveland. Welcome back to the Trop, where the Devil Rays and the Indians head into inning number 3, middle game of the series. The Wade watch is on. 3 hits short of 3,000. So they're here tonight in anticipation of Wade getting a little closer, if not reaching the 3,000 mark. Roberto Alomar is going to lead off the third for the Cleveland Indians. He is their third-placed hitter. Alomar, Ramirez, and Tomey in the inning against Bobby Witt. And Witt starts Alomar with a strike. 1 strike to count. Late, and the count is 0-2. Check the Mazda League leaderboard, and Roberto Alomar, with the runs scored tonight, leading the league. 93 runs scored for Roberto Alomar. Sharply hit foul through the coaching box. The count is still 2 strikes.
Well, the way the game started off for Bobby Witt wasn't a whole lot of fun for him, but he has to tell himself if he can put a couple more scoreless innings together. You know, you face this Indians lineup and you are going to give up some runs, but if he can hold them right here and give his team a chance to get right back in it, he can really start feeling a little bit better about the way that he is throwing.
Upstairs, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Alomar also among the top 10 of the league in runs batted in. He is 9th with 83. A little bit wide. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Last couple starts, that changeup, Bobby Witt has started to use that more and more, and he's been pretty consistent with it.
2-2 delivery, foul out of play.
It has to be positive for Bobby to be able to have good command of that changeup, because throughout a lot of his career, and now where he doesn't approach 100 miles an hour anymore, pitches basically around 90 miles an hour. He has the fastball and the slider. Those are two pitches that are hard, not a lot of velocity separation. So that changeup could be a great weapon to what was basically a two-pitch arsenal.
The 2-2, foul out of play. So Alomar stays alive, fouling the fastball out of play. Bobby Witt turned 35 in May. Originally broke in with the Texas Rangers in 1986. Here's a well-hit ball into deep right center field. Davey Martinez running into the alley. He'll have to play it off the wall. Alomar will make the turn and hold it second with a double. Roberto Alomar hit a towering fly ball into the gap in right center field to pick up his 29th double of the year.
Now Bobby has found himself in this game where he's made mistakes in the middle of the strike zone. He did it to Manny Ramirez and now to Roberto Alomar. Had the count in pretty much a situation where he wanted it, but just left the pitch out over the middle of the plate. And you already saw with a preceding graphic that he has great numbers, lifetime numbers against Bobby Witt.
So it's going to be Manny Ramirez who hit the home run in the first inning. Ramirez now with 28 home runs on the year. And he lines it into left for a base hit. Alomar will go to third. They're going to wave him around, and the throw back to Boggs. The run scores to make it 4-0. Alomar scores from second base on the base hit by Manny Ramirez, who has driven in all 4 Cleveland runs.
Well, I don't think Roberto Alomar off the bat had intentions of scoring on this line drive into left field. He was just kind of trotting into third base, and the third base coach seemingly wanting to take advantage of Bubba Trammell playing deep and not throwing as strong as you would think. He's just jogging, all of a sudden gets the go ahead. You got to go, go, go. And he makes it without a real threat.
So Alomar has scored his second run of the night to give him 94 runs scored on the year. Nobody out. Here's Jim Thome. And the pitch is a strike. Bullpen busy again for the Devil Rays up the right field line. Big cut and a foul ball by Thome. 2 strikes. Ryan Ricard throwing for the second time tonight. So the Indians held to 2 runs on 7 hits last night, have 4 runs on 5 hits as we play in the third with nobody out tonight. And the 2-strike delivery. There's a towering shot deep into right center field. Thome has just hit one out. An 0-2 pitch, and Thome powers his 21st home run of the year. It's a 3-run inning for Cleveland. And the Indians, who scored 3 in the first, now have a 6-0 lead.
Man, oh man, it's been really tough for Bobby tonight. As we mentioned, making his mistakes in the middle of the plate as opposed to out of the strike zone. This one to Jim Thome, right in his wheelhouse.
And with that home run, Larry Rothschild out of the dugout to make the pitching change. That's going to be it for Bobby Witt. Time for the Bell South call to the bullpen. For Bobby Witt. Ryan Ricard on now as he faces David Justice and misses with the first pitch to him. 1 ball to no strikes. Ricard with a record of 6-6 throws a strike, and the count is 1-1. So 2 innings plus 3 hitters in the third for Bobby Witt. 6 runs, 6 hits, 2 home runs. 2 balls and a strike to count. Witt struck out 1, walked 2. Now Ricard leaves 1 wide. The count is 3 balls and a strike to David Justice. Ground ball headed to second. Benigno has it. His throw to first is in time for the first out. So Brian Ricard retires David Justice.
Left fielder, number 44, Richie Saxon.
Now we'll see Richie Saxon. Saxon had a shot his first time, a hard line drive caught by Aaron Ledesma at shortstop. He is nothing out of 1. The pitch is a strike call. Saxon playing left field. It's inside. He's only 24 years old. And it seemed that anytime any club talked deal with the Indians, Saxon's name was the first name to come up. That is, by the other club. 2 balls and a strike. And apparently a year ago the Indians entertained some serious offers and thought about including him in a trade, but the story now seems to be no way.
Well, they were finding it hard to really find a place for him in their big league lineup last year, and Mike Hargrove says, well, you got to get this guy at bats, and he's basically just earned his way on. And if you put all of his at bats together, he really hasn't had a full season, but the numbers have been impressive.
Yes, they have. 3 balls, 2 strikes to count now. He had 11 home runs in 49 games last year for the Indians. It lines this one into left. That's going to fall in. A big hop out there in front of Trammell. And Saxon has his first hit. Second line drive he's hit tonight. He's at first with 1 out.
I bet the scouting report says don't throw it up in his eyes. He's got great hands and not what you'd call a perfect textbook swing, but the barrel certainly knows where the ball is. Pretty short swing for a guy who's long and gangly like Saxon.
So here's Russell Branyan with a man at first, 1 out, 3 runs home. Swing and a miss at the breaking ball. Strike 1. Branyan, just 23 years old. Misses the breaking stuff again. 2 strikes to count. And another breaking ball. He missed all 3 of them. So he's out on strikes for the second time. So a steady diet of breaking stuff to the young third baseman.
Ricard with the overhand breaking ball. And that's twice that Branyan has struck out.
2 outs. Here's Einar Diaz. And Ricard throws him a strike. With the injury to Sandy Alomar Jr., Diaz has done a great deal of the catching. He shoots it into right field. Martinez is there, and he'll make the catch for the out to retire the side. 3-run score for Cleveland. Bottom of the third coming. 6-0 Indians. Here in the third, it'll be Davey Martinez, Aaron Ledesma, Terrell Lowry, and if anybody gets on, Wade Boggs would hit 4th in this inning. Martinez hit a fly last night, went 1 for 3. He lined a single into center in the 6th and goes right back through the middle. A base hit his first time up tonight. So Davey Martinez picks up the first Devil Ray hit, and it's good to see him swinging the bat as well as we know he can again.
Yes, it is, and this is really one part of the game that's changed over the last couple of years. It used to be when you get down by 6 runs, 5, 6 runs, that pitcher will just start firing fastballs over the middle of the plate, and hitters will be taking it for strike one. And Davey wouldn't let Negi do that and just lined it right up the middle.
Now Aaron Ledesma steps in. Aaron had a big base hit last night. A single in the 6th, chasing home 2 runs. He misses the first one. Strike one. Charles Negi, the right-hander, delivers. Bouncing ball foul. 2 strikes. Negi with the off-speed stuff, the breaking stuff here so far to Ledesma. One on, nobody out. A long look. Maggie all set into the stretch. Foul ball. Pulls the count at 2 strikes. Maggie, a 15-game winner each of the last 2 years. His high water mark in terms of single victories in a season, 17. He's done that twice. He was 17-10 in 1992 and 17-5 in 96.
They recorded his 100th victory this year, and not too many pitchers can say that.
Foul ball, that's headed toward the stands and going to be out of play. Well, he came up in 90. Handful of games after actually a relatively short period of time in the Cleveland minor league system. He was on the U.S. Olympic team in '88 and then spent roughly 2 years in the minor leagues. Not quite 2 years, and then found himself in Cleveland in 1990. Foul ball, out of play again. Holds the count at 2 strikes. And it wasn't long before he was winning in double figures. 91, he was 10-15 with an earned run average of a little over 4. And then that next year, 92, is the first year he won 17. The 0-2 again, and a line drive. That ball is going to be caught. Did he hold it or not? He did not hold it. Throw to second, and that is not in time. Martinez up to second base, just ahead of the throw back in by Saxon. Saxon tried to make a diving catch out there, but could not hold it. And the Devil Rays have men at first and second and nobody out.
Good base running by Davey Martinez. It certainly looked like Richie Saxon was going to be able to catch this line drive, but it's a tough read for a base runner. He knows that he's going to get doubled off if he gets too close to second base, but if the ball's to come loose like it did, he has to be able to make it to second and beat the force, and Davey was able to do it easily. Great base running instincts.
Now Terrell Lowry with a couple runners aboard and nobody out, and this one goes all the way back to the screen. The wild pitch advancing the runners. So both men are now in scoring position.
I think Lowry in his first at-bat swinging at some pitches out of the strike zone. Negi tries to go out there again, this time just a little bit too far, and Rays have a chance to get 2 runs on the board to make it a little more interesting.
That's his 3rd wild pitch of the year. Well, this is the way you come back from deficits like this, a little bit at a time. And the Devil Rays have a great opportunity here. 2 men in scoring position with nobody out. Another pitch that slides outside. 2-0 the count here.
In the 2 at-bats to Lowry, it looks like Negi has been very careful to make sure that he has got not only his pitches away, but way away to Lowry.
Boggs is on deck. Lowry steps out as Negi takes a long time before settling on his pitch. Durham back in there. The delivery. That's wide. 3 balls and no strikes the count. A stretch by the right-hander. And Maggie throws a strike to make it 3-1. Singles by Davey Martinez and Aaron Ledesma to open this inning. The advance on the wild pitch. Three balls and a strike to count. Lowry takes it outside for ball 4, and that's going to load the bases. Third walk of the game issued by Charles Negi, and of course from the Cleveland perspective, this is the last thing they want, to see their starting pitcher walk people. But with these 2 singles in the walk, they've loaded the bases for Wade Boggs. So Wade, who grounded to second his first time, gets a chance now to really do some damage. The bases are loaded with nobody out. Boggs needing 3 hits to get to 3,000. Nagy's pitch, and Wade takes a look at this one too high. 1 ball, no strikes. Now time call. Regan, the pitching coach, is headed to the mound to spend some time with Charles Negi. Oh, what a great chance for the Devil Rays now.
That's right. You're not going to be able to score 6 on one play. You have to do it in little components at a time, and if they're able to get a couple, even 3, that gives them the real hope that they're right back in it.
The countdown going here at Tropicana Field. Wade hitting .288 for the year. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on to the ground ball to the right side into right field. A base hit. Martinez will score. The Devil Rays are on the board. It's a 6-1 ball game as Boggs drives in the run, and now he only needs 2. They're here to see Wade Boggs. Wade with 2,998.
And hopefully every one of these hits are going to be driving in Rays, just like this one for Boggsy. Great numbers lifetime with the bases loaded.
Now Tony Gwynn. He takes the first pitch for a strike. So the Devil Rays pick up their 3rd hit, their first run. The bases remain loaded with nobody out. The pitch, wave and a miss. The count is 0-2. Well, Wade Boggs now with 2,998 hits. 12 of those have come against Charles Negi. Bases loaded. Ledesma at 3rd. Lowry at 2nd base. Boggs at 1st. Benigno down in the count. And a swing and a miss. That's a pretty good pitch. Had some bite to it. A 2-strike pitch, and Benigno strikes out. First strikeout of the ball game for Negi. One out here in the 3rd. And here's Freddie McGriff. Fred hit one to the warning track in the second inning. He's hit over 400 since the All-Star break. Nagy's pitch. McGriff takes one too high. 1 ball and no strikes. Cleveland scored 3 in the first, added 3 more in the third. McGriff waiting on the right-hander Negi. The pitch upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes. See the breakout on Freddie. Pretty good numbers in the first half, and he's stepped it up even more in the second half. The pitch is skied foul down the left side, out of play. 2 balls and a strike. Maggie struck out Graffinino. Bases loaded, 1 out. Here's the pitch and a ground ball up the right field line. Fair ball. Ledesma will score. Here comes Lowry in to score. Boggs hitting third. Riddick will wave him around. The throw is not in time on the double by Fred McGriff, and the Devil Rays make it a 6-4 ball game. Freddie McGriff continues to be red hot. He clears the bases with a 2-base hit, and the Rays are right back in this one.
And it didn't take long at all, and a lot of it is because of Charlie Nagy's own undoing. And it's a good thing Freddie hit that one into the corner to where he didn't have to really test that very sore and strained quadriceps muscle. Hit it perfectly, which gave him plenty of time to not only clear the bases, but for him to make it into second easily.
For Freddie McGriff, 3 RBIs, giving him 79 for the year on his 26th double of the year. And here's Bubba Trammell looking at a strike. So the Devil Rays right back in, trailed by only 2 now. It's 6-4. Trammell with a 6-game hitting streak with a walk tonight. And Nagy hits the corner. 2 strikes the count. The lefty Chris Haney starts to throw in the bullpen. Trammell's average .292, but he's down in the count 0-2. Nagy shoots it down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Devil Rays have 4 hits and a walk in the inning. So far, they've scored 4 times. Nagy from the stretch. Here's the pitch to Trammell. That's wide. Diaz tried to bring it back, but it was outside, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, Diaz is trying to bring it back, and if Nagy could leave it just a couple inches closer to that outer half, I think Bubba will hammer it into right center. Not so subtle way of framing pitches.
The 2-2 swung on a ground ball, headed to short, picked up by Vizquel, whose throw to first is in time to get Trammell. So Bubba's out. Vizquel to Tomey. McGriff remaining at second on the ground ball to the left side. 2 outs now, and it's going to be up to Paulie Sorrento. Sorrento drew the walk the first time around. The veteran first baseman, outfielder DH. He really got his first chance to play on more or less a regular basis with the Indians back in '92. He goes for the first pitch and bounces it foul outside of first for a strike. Paulie originally with the Angels organization, but came to the big leagues with the Twins in '89. Parts of a couple years with the Twins before moving into Cleveland. And he had 18 home runs his first year with the Indians in 140 games. The eighth hitter to come to the plate for the Devil Rays here in the third. Maggie again stretching. Here's the pitch. Inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Rays with a 4-run inning to climb back into the game. Swing and a miss. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Maggie left a man on in the second inning, but the Rays have gotten to him in the third. Blow of the inning, a double by McGriff following the RBI single by Boggs. Here's the 1-2 down and in to take the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, if you're Charlie Negi, the big emotion that you're fighting now is that your team has got you six runs to work with, and you've let the other team back into the game by giving up 4. So it's that disappointment that you're trying to pitch through right now, knowing that you yourself have let the Rays back into the game.
2-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. Sorrento out on strikes to retire the side.
Brian Ricard was doing that, just got outran by Roberts.
So Roberts puts down the bunt, his second hit tonight. Here's Omar Vizquel. Vizquel walked and then scored in the first on the home run by Ramirez. There goes the runner, got a good jump, and the throw is not in time. Dave Roberts steals second base. The pitch to Vizquel was a ball, and Roberts has a stolen base.
And Roberts stole that on Brian Ricard. Had an outstanding jump. John Klarity has a good ball to throw on. Even though it was on the left side of second base, Roberts was in easily.
Now the 1-0 pitch to Vizquel, and he bunts. Ricard jabs at it, picks it up, throws it away. Here comes Robertson to score. And the Indians pick up their 7th run. Roberts scores from second. On the bunt, Vizquel put down the bunt, and as Ricard had trouble making the pickup with his glove hand, he barehanded it and then threw it away. And so that's a base hit and an error.
Given the situation to do it again, he probably would have rather just held on to that instead of, in his panic, throwing it over there to first base and throwing it over there in an errant fashion. There was going to be no way, after he didn't field it the first time, to get Vizquel at first.
So after the Devil Rays trimmed the deficit to just 2, just like that, the Indians on 2 bunts and a stolen base, and now the error, have a run back to make it 7-4. Vizquel at first with nobody out. And we get into the middle part of the Cleveland batting order. Roberto Alomar. Well, the way these Indians can hit home runs and come up with big extra base hits, it's almost not fair to see them bunt the ball. And now Alomar chokes up on the bat, takes the pitch for a strike.
Well, they have those first 2 guys playing small ball, and then the Thunder comes up to the plate.
Not only do they hit home runs, but as we've seen here with Roberts stealing second base, they've been among the top base stealing teams in the American League as well, coming into the series 2nd in the league in stolen bases.
And when Kenny Lofton is healthy, he's out there wrecking havoc on the bases, and really taking the pitcher's mind off trying to get the hitter out.
You saw Roberts in the dugout there on a night when Wade Boggs is just 2 hits away from 3,000. Roberts picks up his first 2 big league hits and his first stolen base and his first big league run scored. Now a bunt attempt by Alomar. 1-2 the count. Indians, a couple of 3-run innings, and Roberts has scored another run in the 4th to make it 7-4. Foul right back, holding the count at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Indians have out-hit the Devil Rays tonight 9-4 and lead 7-4. Over to first base, and Vizquel is back in. And that's another thing with that guy. He'll run as well. He has 27 steals, tied for 3rd in the league. Swing and a miss. Alomar strikes out. So Brian Ricard picks up his 2nd strikeout.
Right fielder, number 24, Manny Ramirez.
Brian Ricard kind of gets away with one. A breaking ball comes out of his hand high and out of the zone, and Alomar thinks he's going to jump on a high one and isn't able to get it.
Now Manny Ramirez, and the pitch to him is inside. 1 ball to no strikes. Ramirez has 2 hits. He's driven in 4 runs. He homered in the 1st with 2 men aboard, and then single home Alomar in the 3rd. Hitting .320 for the year. 1 ball, 1 strike. 112 runs batted in for Ramirez now. Ball misses inside. 2-1. Three balls and a strike to Ramirez. Well on his way to increasing his run production from a year ago when he drove in 145 runs. 3-1 pitch. There's a strike. Bend in that one to take the count to 3-2. Mike Hargrove looking on next to Lou Boudreau, the winningest manager in Cleveland Indians history. Here's the pitch. Ball 4, down and in. So Ricard gives up his first walk. That will put men at 1st and 2nd. Vizquel pushed up to 2nd on the walk issued to Ramirez. And now it's going to be Jim Thome. Thome hit the home run to center field in the 3rd, and that spelled the end of the evening for Bobby Witt. Thome now hitting .279. And the pitch is upstairs. 1 ball to no strikes. Rick White starts to loosen for the Devil Rays. A strike over the inside part of the plate. And the count is 1-1. Jim Thome out of Peoria, Illinois. He starts to go. That pitch breaking down. 2 balls, 1 strike to count. Tommy hit 30 home runs last year despite spending 35 games on the disabled list when he broke his hand in August. The pitch, and he shoots it into left center field. That's going to be in there. Extra bases. Vizquel scores. Ramirez will get the stop sign at third. Tommy winds up at second with a 2-base hit. The second run of the inning off Ricard, and it's a 4-run ball game now, 8-4 Cleveland, as Jim Thome drives in his third run of the night.
Well, you look at Thome, and from watching him over the last couple of years, especially with that stance, you think of him as a pull hitter. But this pitch is up and out over the plate, doesn't try to pull it at all, hits it really hard into the left center field gap, right up against the wall, and drives in another run.
So Thome doubles, and now they're going to walk David Justice intentionally here to load the bases. You know, it was a year ago today that Thome broke his hand when Wilson Alvarez hit him with a pitch, and he was placed on the disabled list the next day. So it's been one complete year to the day. Thome tonight has homered and doubled, handing out the Devil Rays some offensive punishment tonight. The intentional walk to Justice loads the bases. Thome at second after doubling home the run. Ramirez at third, Justice at first. And Richie Saxon will bat with 1 out, and the bases loaded in the 4th inning. Saxon is 1 for 2. He's hit 2 line drives tonight. He takes a big cut and misses, strike 1. Eight to 4. The Rays out hit now 10-4. Ricard in relief of Bobby Witt. Upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. One and 2 the count now.
Well, you look at the way that Saxon swung at that slider on the outer half of the plate. One of the reasons why he does not hit for a high average against the right-handers, but when they make a mistake with it, he'll hit it out of the ballpark. That's a pitch that not only gives a lot of hitters trouble, but Richie Saxon as well.
Here's the 1-2. Ricard tries it again and misses out there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ricard, coming off the relief appearance he made Sunday in Oakland. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a line drive out of the reach of Ledesma. Another hit for Saxon. Scores Ramirez. Tome's on his way to the plate. Stopping at second, Justice on the base hit by Saxon, who drives in 2. And the Indians come back and put a 4 on the board here in the 4th inning to make it 10-4. Saxon driving in 2 with the line single, and Larry Rothschild comes out to get Ricard. So 5 hits surrendered by Ricard, 4 runs so far, and it's time for the Bell South call to the bullpen. We're at the top of the 4th at Tropicana Field with the Indians rebuilding their 6-run lead. They've scored 4 so far here in the 4th inning. And Rick White trucks his way in from the Double Ray bullpen tonight, following Bobby Witt and Brian Ricard.
Well, the last time that the Rays were down by 6, they got right back in it. And they'll be hoping that Rick White can hold them here with just 1 out. And Rick White has been seemingly pitching on a daily basis.
There was that stretch this year when the Devil Rays staff was so beaten up, and they've since gotten a couple of guys back off the DL. But you're right, Larry Rothschild had to go to Rick White. It was almost as if the bullpen were regular members of that 15 or so players that you would keep on a roster because they were playing every day. Now Russell Branyan bats with runners at first and second and one out. He's seen a steady diet of breaking stuff. There's one and strike one.
And no let up in that swing of Branyan. He has struck out twice and is still just seemingly trying to hit one over the boards on every swing.
Rick White's one strike pitch fouled, and the count is 0-2. Rick coming off Tuesday's outing against the Mariners up in Seattle when he pitched 3 innings. That was the longest outing he's had since the 4th of July up in Toronto when he pitched 4 1/3. Two strikes the count to Brandon. He's hitting .222. He sends a fly ball into center field. Terrell Lowry is there to make the catch. The tag at second by Justice. On his way to third. The throw toward third, and Saxon moves up to second. So Branyan makes contact, lifts a fly ball into center. Two outs with 2 men in scoring position now. The move up by Saxon. And here's Einar Diaz. He becomes the 9th hitter to bat for the Indians here in this inning. The inning started on 2 bunt singles by Robertson and Vizquel. So far it's led to 4 runs. Rick White misses low and outside. 1 ball to no strikes. Diaz at .276 for the year. Indians think he has a chance not only to be a pretty good catcher, but a pretty good hitter as well.
Just what they need, another hitter.
Isn't that right? And a strike, and the count is 1-1. Well, it's like anything else in this game. It's contagious. You know, you hear that term, but boy, it's really true. Whether it's pitching or hitting, you get 2 or 3 guys going well, and before you know it, it affects that whole lineup. There's a ground ball off his foot, and the count will go to 1 ball and 2 strikes on the foul ball.
This never feels good, does it?
Now Diaz trying to shake that off. The Indians today lost a couple of players to the disabled list, Jacob Cruz and Kenny Lofton. So they've been banged up as well. Here's a look at the injury list for the Cleveland Indians. While the Devil Rays have been decimated, the Indians have had some significant injuries on their disabled list as well. A ball, 2 strikes the count to Einar Diaz. Just missed. Lance Diaz wouldn't ring him up, and the count goes to 2-2.
That may have been catcher up at the plate courtesy call there.
It was a very close pitch. We'll go to 2-2, and a bouncing ball headed to Ledesma. Aaron up with it, and a throw to first, a little high. Sereno comes down on the bag to retire the side. The Indians score 4. Bottom of the 4th coming, 10-4 Cleveland.
Thank you very much. We're sitting by right here with a guy who's seen a lot of Wade Boggs' 2,998 hits, and that's his father, Wynn. Wynn, how you holding up here this weekend?
Pretty good so far, but I'd sure like to see it come to a fruitation real quick.
Wynn has almost all of his hits on videotape for Wade throughout the years, and it's interesting. You guys have had so many baseball discussions throughout his career, and one of them revolves around that first pitch.
Oh, yeah. Can't get him to swing at the first pitch. It just won't do it.
Now, why is that?
Well, he says he's hitting 205 when he swings at the first pitch, so he won't swing anymore.
But you want to see him swinging that first one sometime.
Usually the best one you get.
Win 25 years in the Air Force, retired Master Sergeant. Will you get emotional this weekend when it happens?
Yeah, I probably will. Yeah. Already am.
Hey, Win, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We look forward to celebrating with you.
Enjoyed it. Thank you.
Win Boggs, our guest. Now back upstairs to Wade and Joe.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. And thanks to Wade's father, Win. We're in the bottom of the fourth here with a 10-4 ball game. 1 strike to count to John Flaherty. And there's a line drive and a base hit. So Flaherty returns to the lineup and has a base hit his second time up tonight. So a leadoff single here in the 4th inning for John Flaherty. Well, the Devil Rays put 4 up in the 3rd to get to within 2, only to see the Indians come back with a 4-run 4th. So the Rays begin their battle back here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Davey Martinez opened the 3rd with a single and scored the first Devil Ray run. The pitch is a strike over the outside part of the plate.
Well, Davey, one of the Rays who has good lifetime numbers against Charlie Negi. 381 and 8 for 21 clip. Davey hits a lot of sinker ball pitchers well.
He takes that pitch in for a strike and is now behind 0-2.
And one of the reasons he hits them well is he's a very patient hitter, and he will not swing at that sinker ball that's out of the strike zone. That's tantalizing and looks like a strike. He'll make the pitcher bring it up until he gets a good pitch to hit. Very patient hitter.
The 0-2 and a wave and a miss. So Martinez is out on strikes. That pitch with tremendous dip from Negi. So Negi picks up his 3rd strikeout tonight. One gone. And Ledesma will be the hitter. Ledesma hitting out of the 9th spot for the Devil Rays. The pitch is a strike at the knees. Flaherty, the runner at first. He opened with a base hit, snapping an 0 for 12. The 0-1 to Ledesma is down. 1 ball and 1 strike. Maggie again delivers low and away, and the count is 2 balls and a strike. Bobby Witt started for the Devil Rays. Brian Ricard followed. 6 runs charged to Witt, 4 to Ricard. Rick White in there now. Charles Negi, the starter tonight for the Indians. And that pitch is down. 3 balls and a strike. We mentioned that Negi had made 21 starts with 19 decisions. And the 2 games in which he didn't have a decision, the Indians wound up winning those games as well. So they're 14-7 in the 21 games he started this year. There's a bouncing ball, and what that tells you is in those games when he left early because he gave up a number of runs, because the Indian offense is so good, they managed to win those games despite Nagy's inability to figure in the decision.
And we've talked about it many times in the American League. If you're going to be a starting pitcher and you want to be around to get a lot of victories, say win 20 ball games, you're going to have to be around in the 7th and 8th inning a lot, because that's where most of those games are decided.
Here's the 3-2. Ground ball just outside of first. Richie Garcia on the call down there.
Richie Garcia is one of the umpires through their legal battles of getting certification or a new contract that is going to be losing his job September 2nd. Now that's one of the things that I can't understand about the picking and choosing about which resignations to accept, because Richie Garcia is and has been for a long time one of the top 5 umpires in the American League.
Here's the 3-2 pitch and a line drive up the left field side. That's going to be a fair ball. Head toward the corner. Saxon will play the carom. Klarity will go to third, and into second with a double is Ledesma. So the Devil Rays trying to mount a comeback here in the 4th inning against Charles Negi. Ledesma is 2 for 2. So with only 1 out, 2 men in scoring position again for the Devil Rays. For the top of the batting order, Terrell Lowry, and behind him would come Wade Boggs. Lowry walked in the 3rd inning to load the bases. He's up here with first base open. Runners second and third, 1 out in the 4th. Terrell nothing out of 1 tonight. And the pitch, he lays off. It's low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Lowry not known for drawing a lot of walks, but his on-base percentage has been up around .390 for this latest stretch. He takes this pitch down, so it's 2-0 now. Maggie looks in, has the sign. The pitch, swing and a high foul. That's going to be out of play down the right field side, and the count is 2 balls and a strike. Well, Negi opened the bottom of the 3rd with a 6-run lead and closed it with a 2-run lead. Now he's opened the bottom of the 4th with a 6-run lead, and the Devil Rays have 2 men in scoring position with 1 out.
Still plenty of time, and still plenty of time for them to get right back in it. A couple here and a couple there.
2-1 pitch and a foul ball again out of play. That will take the count to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lowry coming into the game hitting a little over .260 with men in scoring position. He was having a great year at Durham. He's worked it to 2-2 against Charles Negi. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball back into right field. Manny Ramirez all the way back to the track for this one, will make the catch. The tag by Klarity. He will score. Over to third goes Ledesma. And the Devil Rays pick up their 5th run to make it 10-5 on the sacrifice fly by Terrell Lowry. So with 2 outs, a man at third, Wade Boggs will be the hitter. Wade Boggs singled, and that chased home a run in the 3rd. Now 2 hits away from 3,000. Charles Negi to the plate, and Wade takes a look at that first one as his father Wynn said he would. 1 ball to no strikes the count, and we've seen him do that so many times. 1 ball, no strikes. And another look, this one in there for a strike. Takes the count to 1-1. Wade's father Wynn and his wife Debbie looking on. The 1-1 pitch and a ground ball to the right side and out of the reach of Alomar. Into right for a base hit, and Wade Boggs chases home another run and draws to within 1 hit of 3,000. The base hit makes it 10-6, and Wade Boggs has only 1 hit left to go. Fans giving Boggs a standing ovation here. 2,999. And I guess we'll see the next time around just how tough it is going to be to get number 3,000.
And you have to believe for Boggsy, this is when it really gets fun. I think he's already thinking about it. I'm kidding.
A conversation going there with Jim Thome and Billy Hatcher, the Devil Rays first base coach. Wade with a single in the third and a base hit here in the fourth inning. Only one hit separates Boggs from the 3,000 mark. Trying to become only the 22nd player in Major League history to get there. He's 2 for 3 tonight. Now Tony Graffinino. So the Rays back with 2 runs in the fourth. Graffinino attempts this one foul down the third base side. Picked up here by Riddock. 1 strike the count. Graffinino at .323 since coming to the Devil Rays from Durham. Here's the pitch from Negi. Strike on the outside corner at the knees. Takes the count to 0-2. Devil Rays trimming the deficit to 4 now. 10-6 ball game. Here's the pitch. Outside and low. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Klarity opened the inning with a base hit. He has scored. Ledesma has scored. Rays with 6 runs on 7 hits. The pitch. Swing and a fly ball driven back into center field. Roberts is there. He'll make the catch and the Rays settle for 2 at the end of 4. It's 10-6 Cleveland.
Back with you here at Tropicana Field, top of the 5th inning of play, and the Indians with a 10-6 lead over the Devil Rays. The fans here really don't care that much about it at this point after Wade Boggs has electrified the crowd with his 2nd hit of the night. So he needs 1 more to get to 3,000, and the crowd really loves it.
They do, and he's waited all this time to get it, and this may be his easiest hit that he's ever had. Between innings, he tried to get his emotions in check and acknowledge the fans. You could tell when that hit went through the infield that his feet didn't seem to really touch the ground as the adrenaline really started to flow.
After he got the single, the crowd gave him an ovation and they waved to all sections of the ballpark. There's another salute. The folks off the third base side. And so Wade Boggs with 2,999 base hits and a couple of RBIs in the game to boot. But the Rays trailing at 10-6. And so everybody's going to just kind of sit back and wait for his next at bat. As Wade Boggs, what thoughts must be running through his mind right now? He has to concentrate on playing defense, and he's probably very happy about that, that he doesn't have to occupy that DH role tonight and sit around and have to think about his next at bat. He can go out there and kind of put things aside for a little bit and worry about defense. Dave Roberts with the count 2 balls and no strikes, making his major league debut tonight with a ground out, a double, and a bunt single, plus a stolen base. His debut has been a very successful one. They said they were able to fly his wife in here from California near the San Diego area, Oceanside. And that's the only kind of support in a family way that's here with a lot of Indian fans at the ballpark.
I thought she came in for Wade's 3,000.
Well, it was she didn't want to tell Dave that, but which is a little bit low on inside. Now it's 3-1 to Dave Roberts.
Boggs, I'm sure, is going to be fighting the emotions and impulses just to tell himself to focus on his defense, but he has to be thinking about his next at bat and mentally readying himself for it.
And there is ball 4 to Roberts, starting off the 5th inning, and he has to be watched. He stole 39 bases this year at AAA, and then stole second base in the 4th inning. A very good jump on Brian Rico. So Omar Vizquel, who bunted his way on and scored a run in the 4th inning, flied out and walked and scored in the 1st, is in there now. So the Rays, just looking ahead, they are retired in order in the 5th and then again in the 6th inning. And Rave would be the second batter up in the 7th inning. By the way, the Rays have been getting on base. They have not been retired in order except for the 1st. That could very well change. Oh! 0-1 is the count to Omar Vizquel, hitting from the left-handed side where he bats .322 to begin the game. Roberto Alomar, another switch hitter, is on deck. Well, Tony Gwynn had to take a flight from St. Louis to Montreal, thinking about that historic base hit. This one in the air to left center field. Lowry and Trammell, and it's Trammell. 2 outs. Bubba said last night the ball's hit by Manny Ramirez hit so high to left field that he actually lost them both. He was able to locate them again. But Ramirez, one of the few players who hits a ball as high as he hits them on Poppins. That was just a routine fly off Vizquel's bat, no problem seeing it. But Terrell Lowry was saying, yeah, it was real tough to see some of those extremely high pop-ups. Just now joining us, Wade Boggs has 2 base hits. He is 2 for 3 tonight. He needs 1 more hit to get to 3,000. Roberts takes off on the hit and run swing. 0-1. Maybe a rookie, but boy, he's pretty aggressive out there on the bases and not showing any signs of nervousness. In the 1st inning when he grounded out, but he's gotten on base 3 times since.
Well, you mentioned his wife has been flown in. What a neat thrill that must be for her. Get a chance to see her husband get his first major league hit, and perhaps Boggsy's 3,000.
This one out of play. 2 for the price of 1. Historic, at least in the Roberts family, on both ends.
Well, much the same way that Jerry Remy said to Boggsy when he got his first hit. We're talking about Roberts. If he's going to catch Wade, he's got a ways to go.
Well, he needs 2,998 hits.
18 more years.
Pitch outside, and the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Four other players in big league history have gotten their 3,000th base hit in the month of August, including Tony Gwynn the other night. Runner going, another hit and run swing, left center field, and that is a catch. Actually, that was more of a straight steal than a hit and run, so the count was 1 and 2. Alomar flies out to left field, and Roberts returns to first base. 2 outs, and here comes Manny Ramirez. He had the high fly ball outs and the long home run in the 1st inning to straightaway center field after back-to-back walks issued by Bobby Witt, who only went 2 innings plus. Brian Ricard followed by going an inning and a 3rd, and both had their problems tonight. Oh! 0-1 is the count to Ramirez. Manny's also singled and walked, has scored 3 times, 4 RBIs. Mark McGwire had 102 RBIs beginning tonight's play. Ramirez with 112. That is a fair ball over the bag and down the line. Roberts coming around with his great speed. He's headed to the plate, and there is no play at second on the RBI double by Ramirez. He has 5 RBIs tonight. And it's 11-6 Cleveland.
This guy's unbelievable. You put a guy on base, and he certainly knows how to bring him around.
First baseman, number 25, Jim Thome.
Well, he is already calling that a fair ball if it bounced inside the bag.
Well, it was Honora's feeling that the ball bounced over the bag fair, and that is the criteria for that call. And Wade, who was even closer to the ball than Honora, had no argument on it.
And he was already calling that fair before that ball even hit the line, so clearly in his mind did go over the bag. No argument from Larry Rothschild, who probably has as good a view of that play as anybody.
And Larry probably wouldn't mind tangling with Brian Honora again. Honora kicked him out of the game last night. And this one is outside. I'm going to take another look.
Well, this should tell us here. See, he's already calling it fair, thinking that it already did cross right over the bag. And no hesitation on the call. And it looked like a good one.
Manny Ramirez at second base. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count. We're in the top of the 5th inning from Tropicana Field, and the Indians with an 11-6 lead. And Wade Boggs has 2 base hits, a couple of singles. He needs 1 more to get to 3,000. Wade singled in the 4th inning. And then Tony Graffinino followed with a fly out. One ball, 2 strikes. Jim Thome with his 3 RBIs tonight. Season total 70. Mike Hargrove said recently, kind of hard to believe, but he apparently feels this way, that he thinks that Jim Thome is stronger than Mark McGwire. It's raw brute strength in terms of hitting the ball a long way. Of course, Thome was the only guy to hit the ball into the open air restaurant over center field in Toronto. And that says something about his strength.
Well, maybe they should settle it with a good old-fashioned game of wrestling.
You mean like Wide World of Sports used to do?
Some wrist wrestling, arm wrestling, whatever you call it.
Get them a plane to Petaluma, California with that. And that's ball 4. Squirts away from Klarity, but the runner at second stays put.
Designated hitter, number 23, David Justice.
Now David Justice comes up. Six walks issued by Double Rays pitching tonight. It was last weekend. It was the walkathon that was the Oakland trip. 27 walks in. And now David Justice stands in. An intentional walk his last time. There's a strike to him. It'll be McGriff, Trammell, and Sorrento in the 5th inning. Wade Boggs number 2 in the batting order, and we're talking about numbers 4, 5, and 6. So.
Wow, David. Yeah, Rick White with that nasty bender. And I think David Justice swung at this pitch in a mode of self-protection, so it didn't hit him in the foot.
Hangs in there as he might get that same pitch again. He didn't look very good on that swing.
Why not?
So 1 ball, 2 strikes. Go away. The Indians, when you look at their record, Joe, 43 wins and 22 losses against teams with less than 500 records, but only 22 and 21 500 or better. They are shut out this year against the Yankees. This one is out of play. 0-5. They finished their season series with Boston 9-4, but they're under 500 against Toronto, 5-6, 2-7 against Texas, 1-5 against Oakland.
Yeah, that's a real concern. They have not played well against the good teams.
They're already, of course, pointing towards the playoffs and trying to get their team healthy again. Strikes out David Justice, and that's the inning. Indians get one more, and it's 11-6 Cleveland after 4.5. Tropicana Field, and there's a buzz in the air here as Wade Boggs needs one more hit to get to 3,000. He has a couple of singles, one in the third and one in the fourth, and 2 RBIs. Rays are trailing, though, 11-6. And Fred McGriff, the number 4 hitter. Wade Boggs bats number 2, so you get an idea that it's going to be a little bit before he comes up again. McGriff, Trammell, and Sorrento here in the fifth against Charlie Negi. McGriff is flying out to deep right field, doubled. He'll drive in 3 runs. McGriff with 79 RBIs. He had 81 all of last year with the Devil Rays. His resurgence continuing, especially here at Tropicana Field, where he was batting .365 beginning tonight's play.
He's starting to get into that territory where he's in the batting title chase.
Absolutely. He's been in the top 10 for the last week 10 days or so. And he needs to hit one more home run to tie King Griffey Jr. and Clyde Evans. 385 home runs, those two.
I think Junior and Freddie are going to be trading off for a while in the home run category.
That Junior with 35 home runs to lead the league. Sean Green is starting to pull now. He has surpassed Jose Canseco. Green has 32. That's a bouncer. Alomar gives ground and throws out McGriff. So 1 down here in the 5th inning.
Well, don't forget Jose Canseco is still on the home run leaderboard for this year, and if he can come back as he thinks he will in about 2 weeks, or maybe slightly less than that, he could get hot and have an outstanding month of September. He very realistically could win the home run title.
Absolutely. And the thing that, of course, Jose has to concern himself about as the pitch comes in, and there's a rocket shot, a ripper down into the left field corner. Saxon picks it up and gets back in. That's 2 bases for Bubba. Trammell, with the Rays down 11-6, got a hittable pitch. He says he hasn't been getting many of those types of pitches lately. He whacked that one.
Sometimes when you go through times of struggling, it seems like the pitcher is making all his good pitches on you. That time Charlie Negi made a mistake right in the middle of the plate, and Bubba, a good cripple hitter, was able to jump on it.
Here's Paul Sorrento. Paul has walked and struck out swinging. There's a strike into him. Sorrento has had a pretty good career against Charlie Negi. He feels he's about due here. Sorrento, a .385 hitter beginning tonight's play against Negi. And there is ball 1. 1-1 is the count. Klarity is on deck. 1 out here in the 5th inning. The Rays are down 11-6. But that's not what really is important. Next one is inside. Wade Boggs needing one more hit to get to 3,000 as throwing commences again. Chris Haney up for the 2nd time tonight. He was up in the 3rd inning. And Wade with his 2 singles tonight, a run scored, 2 RBIs. Thinking about 3,000. There's a strike of the knees over the inside corner. 2-2. The only victory for Negi against the Devil Rays came here at the Trop last season. In 8 innings, gave up just 3 hits. That one is out of the reach of Tome. Here comes Trammell. Here comes the throw. It's offline. Bubba scores. Rays trail 11-7. RBI single for Paul Sorrento.
Well, you certainly get the feeling maybe one of those games, as soon as the Rays seem like they're out of reach, they're able to climb right back into it. With a 4-run deficit now and still threatening. Looks like Mike Hargrove is doing the best he can to try to get Charlie Negi to 5 innings, but he may have to make that decision a little sooner than he would like, with Haney warming up in the bullpen.
So John Klarity stands in. John has grounded out and singled, scored a run in the 4th inning. Paul Sorrento at first, and the Indians look for 2. Maggie's last outing against the White Sox, he went 8 innings but gave up 10 hits and 5 runs in a loss to Chicago. This one is out of play. Look at his numbers, Joe. 129 2/3 innings coming in and 153 hits allowed. And it helps to be on a ball club that can slug you right back like the Cleveland Indians.
Well, he will give up some hits, and he's intelligent enough to know that his team's going to score a lot of runs, so he's not going to be toying around by putting base runners on by way of the base on balls coming into, as you said, this game only had 40 base on balls as well, so good control numbers for those innings.
They might be able to turn 2 on this. Nope, they don't even think about it. Low throw handled by Alomar at the bag, released by Branyan. So it brings up Dave Martinez. The runner at first is John Klarity. Rays with a run home. Rays have 4 runs in the 3rd, 2 runs in the 4th, and 1 run here in the 5th. The Indians 3 runs in the 1st on a 3-run home run by Manny Ramirez. 3 in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th, and 1 in the 5th as well. Dave Martinez has struck out and singled as a run scored. So Klarity is not going to be held on at first base by Tome. That one is in for a strike. 0-1. Charles Negi is trying to get through 5 so he could be the pitcher of record with this big lead of his. At least all the runs on the board for Cleveland. 11 runs and 12 base hits. You don't get the feeling that Mike Hargrove is comfortable with the way things have gone. That's a strike, and the count is 0-2. Souvenir for one of the many fans here tonight. Looks as though there are more people here tonight than last night. We had 34,000 plus. 623.
Might be closer to 40,000 tonight.
Absolutely. Might be a few people in the area might decide to hop in the car and come on out here to the Trop.
Be a good idea.
Still some room to fit you in, because it looks as though Wade now, if Martinez makes the last out here, will come up 3rd in the 6th inning. Alomar makes sure, going down to one knee, and his throw on to 1st. So Wade Boggs will be the 3rd hitter in the 6th inning. We have played 5, and the Indians are leading at 11-7. So Charlie Negi gets through 5 and going to get a little bit of a dip there, as he'll be coming out maybe in the 6th. It looks as though they still have warming in the bullpen, and now they just stopped. The left-hander was throwing in the Indians bullpen and sits down, so perhaps Haney, who has yep, he's grabbing the jacket. So that was an exit chew for Charlie Negi.
That was a 3-finger dip there.
So Negi is the pitcher of record, and Chris Haney could be a pitcher making history. Wade Boggs will be the third hitter in the 6th inning. Top of the 6th underway now, and the strike to Richie Saxon. 0-1 is the count. Saxon has hit the ball hard tonight. Lined out to shortstop and 2 singles to left field. Couple of RBIs. He's down on the count quickly. 0-2. (11-7). Cleveland trying to level this series. The season series even at 2 wins apiece. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Saxon, Branyan, and Diaz, the bottom third of the order here in the 6th inning. And of that trio, only Saxon has hits, a couple of them. Everybody else has been blanked. 2-2. So to be Ledesma, Lowry, and Boggs in the 6th for the Devil Rays. Wade down there at third base. Meanwhile, maybe he's allowing himself to let his thoughts drift to his next at bat. 2-2 to Richie Saxon. In the air, high and foul out of play. Saxon, with his 2 RBIs tonight, now has 70 and a total of 315 at bats and 22 home runs. Getting more playing time, and Will Cordero broke his wrist. Fans here at the Trop occupying themselves as a wave works around the stadium. I mean, I'm sure the fans, Joe, would like to see a nice quick 1-2-3 inning. Let's get to it. Let's get the Wade Boggs in the 6th.
And I'm sure Boggsy is thinking the same thing. Quick inning, go in there and get it over with.
This one is a shot to left field, and Bubba stays with it. So Saxon is a hard out. Goes 2 for 4, 2 line drive outs and 2 singles.
It brings up an interesting point about Richie Saxon. I'm wondering if the Indians really valued him as much as the other teams in baseball did last year. All of a sudden, everybody at the trading deadline, we want Richie Saxon, we want Richie Saxon. Now John Hart and the Indians thinking, hey, maybe we do have somebody here.
Remember, he came up when Jim Thome got his hand broken here at Tropicana Field by Wilson Alvarez. And catching lightning in a bottle.
And Jim Thome probably going to go to DH as the Indians work their way into postseason play, and Richie Saxon will move over to first base, where they say that is his best position.
So Mike Hargrove and John Hart with some decisions to be made. Branyan kind of the opposite end of the spectrum here. I mean, Saxon, tall and lanky, powerful, but seems to have a much better idea about the strike zone than Branyan, who is very, very raw.
He seems to have that one swing, and that's the go downtown type swing, and doesn't seem to adjust to the ball or the pitches very much. And if you hit his bat, it's got a chance to go a long way, though.
1 ball, 2 strikes is the count. So Branyan, who has already struck out twice tonight and made contact with a fly ball in the 4th inning, is trying to stay alive here. And a familiar pose for Branyan. Strike 3 swinging.
Well, why not? Let's make this our Discount Auto Parts power pitch. It's the breaking ball from Rick White. That's able to retire Branyan on strikes for the 3rd time this evening. And again, this is our Discount Auto Parts power pitch of the game.
So Branyan back in the dugout. Einar Diaz now is the hitter. And again, Wade Boggs needing 2 base hits to get to 3,000. 1 base hit, I should say. He has 2 base hits tonight. Single in the 3rd and a single in the 4th. Needs 1 base hit to get to 3,000. And he'll be up 3rd in the 6th inning, or in the top of the 6th, though. You might want to call your friends, get them around the TV to watch possible history being made. That one is low, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Wade, I think he's worried about Diaz hitting one his way. Boggs, of course, a 2-time Gold Glover. Okay, this will take care of the inning as Ledesma makes the pop-up with Boggs as a spectator, and now Wade trotting off the field. Wade Boggs needing one more hit to get to 3,000 will bat third in the bottom of the 6th inning. Back with you here at Tropicana Field, manager Larry Rothschild speaking with Wade Boggs. There is Brett Boggs there wishing his dad good luck as Wade will bat third here in the 6th inning, trying for base hit number 3,000. He has 2 singles tonight, a couple of RBIs, and so he has the bat. Maybe not. He really closely examines that one and is looking for the perfect piece of wood.
Now, while we're away, Larry Rothschild sensing some anxiety, and obviously understandable for Wade Boggs. Try to relax him a little bit. Got a smile out of him, and now he's focused and ready to go into history.
So you know what, Wade, we're going to pinch hit for you here.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that would have got a reaction out of him, that's for sure. Aaron Ledesma starts off. Terrell Lowry, then Wade Boggs will hit third, needing one more to get to 3,000. There is Ledesma, and there's a strike from Chris Haney. Oh, by the way, a new pitcher out there for the Cleveland Indians. Haney takes over for Charlie Negi, who went 5 and gave up 7 runs and 9 hits. And that's a ground ball wide of third. On to first base, low, and a nice dig out by Jim Thome. So Haney, just in his 3rd game, 1.23 ERA, used to pitch with Kansas City.
And he has basic left-handed pitching repertoire. The fastball sinking down and away from right-handers, a breaking ball, and a little changeup, and relies on command.
Here's the pitch to Lowry, and it is a strike. Meanwhile, Wade Boggs has come out into the on-deck circle as he asks for his son Brett to come out there with him, and he's talking to Brett now. He goes over and taps Brett's leg with his bat. A little good luck. 1-1 is the count to Lowry. 11-7, Indians on top. 1 out here in the 6th inning. Fans here at the ballpark loading up the cameras, making sure everything's in good working order when Wade comes to home plate. 2 balls, 1 strike. Wade with a single in the 3rd and a run scored and an RBI, and a single in the 4th inning and an RBI as well off of Charlie Negi. There's some Brett. This one is a base hit to left field. All right. Single for Lowry. Here comes Wade Boggs to a standing ovation at Tropicana Field. Many of the fans holding up the placards they were given on the way into the stadium. Meanwhile, Boggs is asking for the second base umpire, Mike Riley, to get out of his way. That's the tapping of the helmet. And Riley finally sees Wade and moves about 4 or 5 steps to his right.
In case you're wondering, Boggsy against Chris Haney. He has had some success. 4 for 11 lifetime.
Boggs needing one more hit to get to 3,000. Lowry's at first base, so a hole on that right side. And there is ball 1 amid the flash bulbs here at Tropicana Field. Each time up, as his dad Wynn looks on, Wade has had that advantage of a runner being held on, so the bigger hole on the right side. Ball 1 pitch. There's a strike. And Wade was saying about last night's ball game when he came up the first time needing 3 hits, he was nervous, and he said he knew everybody in the house was watching him. And that was a little extra weight he had to carry, but then he relaxed later on, but still went 0 for 3. 1-1 is the count. Breaking ball, make that 1-2. Boggs concentrating on Chris Haney. Cameras at the ready. Here's the 1-2. Nope, it's allowed to first base. Boggs concentrating. And back in there with the count 1-2 strikes. These youngsters hoping to see a bit of history. 2 balls and 2 strikes is the count. And it seemed only fitting, Joe, that he get the base hit with 2 strikes on him. He's done it so many times in his career.
And usually for Wade Boggs, this is when the at-bat begins, when he gets 2 strikes, and 2-2, this is the action pitch.
Lowry from first, being held on. Big hole on the right side of the infield. And the crowd into it. 2-2 is the count. And there's a drive. Deep right field. It is gone! The hit that makes history is a 2-run home run. 3,000 base hits for Wade Boggs, and he hits a home run to do it. Boggs kneeling and kissing home plate. Teammates to greet him. The first man ever to hit a home run to get base hit number 3,000. And Wade Boggs on Saturday night, August 7th, 1999, is the man in the spotlight. A hug from his son, Brett. Here comes Debbie, his wife, and Dad Wynn to join the celebration. Oh, what a night here at Tropicana Field amid a standing ovation. More hugs and congratulatory high fives and handshakes, and there's the big hug from his father. Talk about rising to the occasion. When Paul Molitor got his 3,000th base hit, he hit a triple. And now Wade Boggs does him one better with a home run as he acknowledges the crowd here at Tropicana Field. Kisses all around. And it's only fitting, Joe, that Mark McGwire had his solo stage last week for his 500th home run. Tony Gwynn had a solo stage in Montreal for his 3,000th base hit. And Wade Boggs has the attention of America tonight for his historic base hit.
And I'll tell you what, Paul, I think when Boggsy was envisioning 3,000 hits, I think he was thinking in classic Wade Boggs fashion, a single to left field, but I don't know if he ever would imagine it would have come on a home run. Amazing stuff.
Meanwhile, Boggs knew it as soon as he hit it. Billy Hatcher the first to greet him, and look at him celebrate. A blessing perhaps to his late mom, who died in 1986. And as that exuberant fan gets out of his way, Wade with another kiss blown to the heavens and the fans, celebrating in a big way, taking the ultimate grand tour. And Roberto Clemente, with whom he is tied now, is smiling. 3,000 base hits. Wade Boggs getting another ovation and comes out to acknowledge the plaudits of the crowd. So he did it in consecutive fashion. A base hit in the 3rd inning, a base hit in the 4th inning, and now a base hit in the 6th inning. But not just any old base hit, a 2-run home run. Not only that, Joe, overlooked is the fact that the Rays are very much in the ball game, trailing 11-9. And the footnote to history: Chris Haney, left-hander for the Cleveland Indians, is the man who gives up the 3,000th base hit to Wade Boggs. A 2-run home run to right field. Tony Graffinino with the count 1-1 First player to hit a home run for base hit number 3,000. Boy. And of course, Joe, when you look at the list of all the others, all the great sluggers in the history of baseball who have 3,000 or more hits, not Aaron, not Musial, not Mays, not Yastrzemski, not Murray, not Winfield, but Wade Boggs. And there's the 3,000 hit club. A new member tonight, Wade Boggs.
And just look at all those names right there. Wade Boggs is among that list of some of the best players to ever put on a pair of spikes. That's very exclusive right there.
His ticket for the Hall of Fame is waiting for him in the locker room. He can't use it until 5 years after he retires, but the ticket has been punched. Graffinino fouls it away. 3-2 is the count. Look at that. I think he just said wow. And I guess you would say wow yourself. It's so hard to believe that he would do it on a home run. Graffinino goes deep. Ramirez brings it in. Perhaps inspired by the Wade Boggs home run, Graffinino with a long drive to right field. Now they have passed out congratulatory cigars. An evening of celebration begins. Back in April, in an interview with USA Today, Wade was asked how he envisioned base hit number 3,000, and he said, quote, "I wanted to be a line drive 3 feet over the pitcher's head and have it land in center field. I'd like to take a Pete Rose turn at first base and clap my hands." I think he preferred the way he did it tonight. A home run. Wow.
It's something else.
Brett McGriff with a ground ball to Vizquel. And he's across for the 3rd out. But history made here in the 6th inning. Wade Boggs becomes the first man to hit a home run for base hit number 3,000. A 2-run shot. The Rays trail. Another ovation for Wade. 11-9 Cleveland.
Welcome back to Tropicana Field as we go into the 7th inning with Joe McGrain, Dwayne Stats back with you now. It's a 2-run ball game, 11-9. Joe, I don't think you could write a better script than what Wade Boggs put together here tonight. 2 singles and the home run for number 3,000.
Now, we thought that last hit for Boggs, it may have been the easiest one he's ever had, but imagine a situation, the gravity gets a 2-2 breaking ball from Chris Haney. You're thinking he's going to inside out it. What does he do? He hits it out of the ballpark. How can you be more dramatic than that?
This is normal speed right here. 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 2 the 7th inning underway is Rick White out there, throws a strike by Dave Roberts. Roberts has been on 3 times tonight. What a great moment here as the Devil Rays have climbed again to within 2 runs of the Indians. 1 ball, 1 strike. Wade Boggs with a 3-hit night tonight to get to 3,000. The pitch. And it's lined into left center field. Going to fall for a base hit in front of Trammell. And Roberts is on base for the 4th straight time. Dave Roberts picking up his 3rd hit to go with a walk. Here's Esteban Yan loosening in the bullpen now for the Devil Rays. Vizquel has walked and bunted his way on over to first, and a low throw skips by Sorrento. Roberts is on his way to second base as Sorrento chases it down. That'll be an error charged to Rick White, the 2nd Devil Ray error of the night. And both have been charged to Devil Ray pitchers tonight. The other one went to Brian Ricard. Well, the Devil Rays trying to hold this potent offense of the Cleveland Indians as they've had to play catch up all night, and here we are in this 11-7 ball game. Outside. 1 ball, no strikes, the count to Omar Vizquel. Check of the runner and the pitch, line drive, and that ball is headed for the corner. Martinez will have to dig it out. Roberts is on his way to the plate. He will score on a 2-base hit by Vizquel. And here come the Indians back. It's now 12-9. Boy, this offense is unbelievable for Cleveland.
Boy, as soon as you get close to them, they just keep reeling themselves a couple runs out in front. They just keep creating distance between their opponents with the bat.
Now Roberto Alomar is due. Larry Rothschild comes out of the dugout. He has Esteban Yan down there. And Esteban has been joined by the left-hander. Mike Duvall is throwing as well. And that's going to be it for Rick White, who gives up a run here in the 7th and departs. Time for the Bell South call to the bullpen. Back at Tropicana Field, Esteban Yan, the new Devil Ray pitcher here in the 7th inning, facing Roberto Alomar, who shows the bunt and takes the pitch down. A run home for Cleveland in the 7th. They have Vizquel now at second with nobody out. Esteban back in here tonight. He was last night's winning pitcher. And will take the count to 1-1, the foul ball. Wade Boggs hit the home run in the bottom of the 6th, and this place came unglued, including the Devil Rays dugout. Who would have thought?
Man, oh man.
Now the bunt back to the mound. Yan looks to third but decides to go to first, and Alomar is out. Vizquel goes over to third. So Alomar put down the bunt a little harder than he wanted, but Yan decided to go to first with it.
These guys are still playing technical baseball, trying to move that runner over and get another run in, and this guy up at the plate's been doing it better than anybody in the American League.
Now Manny Ramirez will bat with a man at third and 1 out. night he has had. It started with a 3-run home run in the first. He's driven in 5 runs tonight. Infield in, and Ramirez is hit by the pitch, and it also got part of Klarity. So Ramirez hit by the pitch.
First baseman, number 25, Jim Tomey.
Boy, got them both, and it's smarts on both of them.
So Larry Rothschild out to make another change. A pitching change coming with this Bell South call to the bullpen. Welcome back. The Indians leading the Double Rays 12-9, and they continue to threaten here in the 7th inning. Wade Boggs electrifying the crowd in the bottom half of the 6th inning with a home run for career hit number 3,000. And of course, Wade's father, Gwynn, was in attendance here tonight, as he was last night, anticipating the historic moment, and there he is in his reaction. That's a great moment right there. That's a fellow who was pitching to Wade in their backyard when Wade was 18 months old.
It's still about fathers and sons, isn't it?
It is indeed. Jim Tomey lets a high pop foul down that third base side, and that's going to be out of play. Boggs chased it, but no chance. One strike the count. And the reaction here in Tropicana Field from the fans. It was just one of those magical moments. The pitch is down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runners at first and third with 1 out. Mike Duvall on the mound facing Jim Tomey. Tomey has driven in 3 runs tonight in this 12-9 ball game. Foul ball, out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Duvall, the 5th Double Ray pitcher of the ball game. The 1-2. Bouncer foul. Dave Roberts has scored the run in the 7th inning here for Cleveland. His 3rd run scored tonight. Vizquel doubled him home. Vizquel's now at 3rd with Ramirez at 1st and 1 out. The 1-2 inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Duvall trying to get the tough left-handed bat, and a shot up the middle, base hit into center. Vizquel will score. Another run is home. Stopping at second is Ramirez. An RBI, and that's number 4 for Tomey tonight. And it's 13-9 now. These Indian hitters are unbelievable. Tomey at first with Ramirez at second. David Justice about to step in. Justice is 1 for 3, a single way back in the first. The pitch is down. 1 ball, no strikes. Duvall delivers. That's a strike. 1-1. to the runners. Duvall delivers. Too close here to Justice. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, Duvall has to be very careful on the inside part of the plate, especially down, because Justice is kind of clearing himself with the front side. And he's a dead low ball hitter, so you have to be careful on the inner half.
The 2-1 pitch. Ground ball back to the mound. Duvall back to second out there, and the throw to Sereno at first for the double play to retire the side. Bottom of the 7th coming, 13-9 Cleveland. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning with the Rays now down 13-9. Bubba Trammell's going to lead it off against the new pitcher Paul Shuey. Trammell, Sorrento, and Klarity due for the Devil Rays here against the 3rd Cleveland pitcher of the night. And the first pitch is foul out of play. 1 strike to count. Bubba hitting .295 for the year. He doubled and scored in the 5th inning. Walked back in the 2nd. The only time they got him out tonight was on a ground ball to short in the 3rd. This pitch is high. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Rays close to within 2. They now trail by 4. The pitch. Swing and a line drive off the glove of Enrique Wilson and up the left field line. Trammell's on his way to second, and he's going to pull in there with another double. His 2nd consecutive double tonight. So the Rays are off and running in the bottom of the 7th. And right now we'll check in with Todd Callis. Todd?
All right, Dwayne, we have a guy, Mike Hogan. We just pulled him out of a press conference. Mike is the man who caught the big blast, the 3,000th hit. Mike, take us through what you saw.
Basically, I saw the ball leave his bat, and it was coming, it was straight at us. And I just stuck my hand up and watched it right into my hand and caught it on the fly. And I just kind of tucked it under like a football and didn't want to. I didn't want anybody to take it out of my hand.
Mike, the big question: what are you going to do with the ball?
I'm going to give it back to Wade. I mean, it's he's had such a great career. I mean, he deserves it. I mean, it's a baseball. It's I'm going to give it back to him.
And you are from New York, so you followed Wade when he was a Yankee?
Yeah, I'm from upstate New York. I'm from Albany, and I'm a big-time Yankee fan, and I just moved down here. So, I'm starting to follow the Devil Rays, and, they're my hometown team now. Still like the Yankees, but, I'm going to start root for the Devil Rays.
Mike Hogan, that's a great gesture. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Mike Hogan's going to give the ball back to Wade. He's the assistant SID for 2 weeks at University of South Florida. He's got a lot of stories to tell those people. Back up to you, Dwayne.
Way to go, Mike Hogan. The first pitch to John Flaherty is too low. 1 ball, no strikes. As you saw a moment ago, Paul Serrano bounced out to second. Trammell taking 3rd. Flaherty up there with a count of 1 ball and no strikes. Boy, it's been a great night. Boggs couldn't have done it in a better fashion. Mike Hogan catches the ball. He's going to give it back to Wade. What a wonderful gesture that is by him. And there's a base hit to the left side. Here comes Trammell in to score. This game isn't over yet. John Flaherty singles home a run, and that makes it 13-10. So Flaherty picks up his 2nd hit tonight, driving in his 51st run of the year. The Devil Rays just will not quit tonight. And Davey Martinez will be the hitter. Davey is 1 for 3. He singled and scored back in the 3rd. It has been like this all night. 13 runs, 15 hits for Cleveland, 10 runs, 13 hits for the Devil Rays. Davey Martinez takes the first pitch from Shuey, and it's too high. 1 ball and no strikes. Maggie, Haney, and Shuey. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I'll say one thing about the fastball from Shuey. It is live. The first one that Davey saw was at 95 miles an hour. Then he comes in with one at 92 where the bottom absolutely fell out of it.
Now Shuey to Davey Martinez for strike 2, and it's another one hit at 95. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you would think the way this guy's fastball is, if he's throwing a breaking ball in this situation, almost doing the hitter a favor. A high velocity fastball with great late movement. That's got to be the toughest pitch in baseball to hit.
The 1-2 is down. 2-2 now. Double Rays scored 7 runs off the starting pitcher Charles Negi in the 5 innings he worked. They got 2 off Haney. They have 1 off Shuey. Two balls, 2 strikes the count. And a tap foul up the right side. Count holding at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Been an uphill battle all night for the Devil Rays. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Davey Martinez is out number 2 here in the 7th.
Boy, you look at the life and the movement on that pitch. It's almost like you think that can't be a fastball. It's got to be like a split finger pitch. It looks like that's what it was, but how in the world can he throw that pitch at 91, 92 miles an hour?
Two outs with a runner at first is Klarity, and now Aaron Ledesma steps in. Aaron has 2 hits and 2 runs scored. His average up to 249. Swing and a miss. Baseball at 97. How about that?
This Shuey guy's stuff is dangerous.
Tapped down to third, picked up by Wilson. His throw to first in time, and the Devil Rays settle for 1. At the end of 7, it's 13-10 Cleveland. On a night in which Wade Boggs has gathered 3 hits to get to the 3,000 mark, we head into the 8th inning with the Devil Rays down by 3, 13-10. Richie Saxon is going to lead it off. He'll be followed by Enrique Wilson, who took over at third base in the last half inning, replacing Branyan. First pitch and a tap back to the mound. Duvall's got it, and the underhanded toss to Cerrito to take care of Saxon. That's the first time he hasn't hit the ball on a line tonight. 1 out here in the 8th inning. Now Enrique Wilson. Wilson just entered the game, so he's hitting for the first time tonight. Batting .280 for the year. And the pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Now the pitch. That's wide. 1 ball, 1 strike. Duvall delivers. Strike on the corner. Now he has the jump on Wilson.
I'll tell you, Dwayne, the way this game's progressing, if Duvall can get him 3 up, 3 down, who knows, the Rays just may put a 3 spot up there in the bottom of the 8th.
Off the plate end, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, you definitely get the idea that This game isn't over the way it's stacked up so far tonight. It has been a great one. A big chop headed to second, picked up there by Graffinino, and his toss to first in time. Two outs here in the 8th.
Catcher number 2, Diaz.
Bases are empty, and Adar Diaz, the catcher, prepares to step in against Duvall. Mike took over in the 7th, gave up a base hit to Tomey, that chased home a run, but then he got the double play out of Justice. 1 strike the count to Diaz. Witt, Ricard, White, Yon, and now Duvall. 1 ball and 1 strike the count. Rays in the bottom of the 8th will have the top of the order coming up there. There's a base hit the other way for Diaz. That's his first hit. Second hit given up by Duvall. So a 2-out single by Adar Diaz.
Center fielder number 52, Dave Roberts.
And Dave Roberts will be up there now. Roberts has 3 hits and a walk. He's had quite a debut himself. Outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Here's a guy who gets to the big leagues and in his first game is playing like he wants to stick around for a while. The pitch. Bouncing ball right side. Sorrento there. He'll step on the bag to retire the side. Bottom of the 8th coming. 13-10 Cleveland. Well, the Devil Rays come into bat at the bottom of the 8th. And they send the top of the order to Terrell Lowry. Lowry, Boggs, and Graffinino. Lowry has scored a couple runs, takes a cut and misses, strike 1. Shuey gave up a run in the 7th inning. And a tap foul. 2 strikes the count. Delivers low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Wave and a miss, and boy, Shuey was very tough.
That pitch should be illegal right there.
Oh, look at Wade Boggs getting a standing ovation here after the magic moment he gave this crowd back in the 6th. And the pitch is too low. 1 ball to no strikes. Wade 3 out of 4 tonight to get to 3,000 hits. Shuey's delivery is low. 2 balls and no strikes the count. Wade has driven in 4 runs tonight. He has scored twice. That pitch is too low. 3 balls and no strikes. And Wade has joined the select company of major leaguers with 3,000 hits. He takes a strike. It's now 3-1. Bottom of the 8th. 1 out. Bases empty. And the pitch, ball 4 low and outside. So Wade Boggs draws a walk here. He'll go to first with one out. Tony Graffinino due to be the hitter. Boggs on base 4 times tonight. And congratulated again over there by Richie Garcia. Jim Thome at first. That's awesome, Jim Thome. He's a kid from Peoria. Here's Tony Graffinino. The pitch is a strike at the knees.
Well, what more can you say? He comes up to the plate and everyone's looking for a single. You get that 3,000 hit, and he hits a bomb.
His second of the year. And there for a moment, it just didn't make any difference what the score of the game was. Swing and a miss. Graffinino now behind Paul Chewy. 2 strikes. Right now, the Rays have been out hit by 3 and trailed by 3. Line drive into center field. That might drop. It will for a base hit. Boggs to second. He'll stop there. Dave Roberts up with the ball in center. Graffinino picks up his first hit. He drops it into center. 2 men on now with only 1 out. And guess what? The Devil Rays are going to get the tying run to the plate. And it's going to be Fred McGriff. And that brings Mike Hargrove out of the dugout. He's going to make a pitching change. Chewy will have worked an inning and a third. And it's time for another Bell South call to the bullpen. Fred McGriff steps in against the left-hander Ricardo Rincon. And walk total a bit high. And McGriff goes after the first one, fouling it out of play. 1 strike.
Now, John Hart felt when he acquired him, Rincon, from the Pirates, that this guy had a chance to be one of the better left-handed specialists. So far, he's held left-handed hitters to a 234 clip. And it's surprising for a left-handed pitcher to be so effective against left-handed hitters by pitching on the far third base side of the pitching rubber, not maximizing his angle. Normally, when you see the good left-handed specialists like a Paul Asselmacher, they're pitching from the first base side to maximize that crossfire angle.
Fred McGriff doubled home 3 runs in the third. And lifts a high pop fly short left here with Saxon coming in from left to make the catch for the out. 2 gone here in the 8th inning. Bubba Trammell due up here, and again Hargrove comes out of the dugout with an eye toward the bullpen, and he's going to make another pitching change. So they bring Rincon on to get 1 out. He got McGriff on the short fly ball to left, and it's time for another Bell South call to the bullpen. The new pitcher, Steve Karsay, 42nd appearance. He's 8-1 with 1 save. He can get the ball up there in a hurry. Bubba Trammell, the Devil Ray hitter. Karsay, 2 men on, 2 men out. And the pitch is a strike. Well, you've got to be geared for the hard stuff, and when he comes in with something soft, that's a surprise. Karsay worked an inning and a third last night in relief of Dave Burba. One strike, the count. Pitch outside and low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Carsey did not face Trammell in last night's game. The 1-1. Strike, a fastball on the corner at 95.
Well, that's one way to accelerate your fastball. Throw 2 breaking balls in the mid to low 80s and come back with a fastball at 95 right on the outside black.
That takes the count to a ball and 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the 8th in a 3-run contest. 2 men on, 2 men out. The 1-2 pitch. Bounces this one to third, foul. Blown there by Enrique Wilson. So the count is still a ball and 2 strikes. Bubba with a couple hits tonight, 2 doubles. He's 2 out of 3 with 2 doubles and a walk. And has scored twice. He has a 7-game hitting streak now. And his average is .299. Nothing out of 3 here against Carsey for his young career. One and 2 now. Carsey, the 5th Cleveland pitcher. The delivery made. Too low. Blocked by Einar Diaz. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Probably going to get back to the fastball from Carsey. Trying to get Bubba to chase upstairs.
Two. Carsey ready to work. Here is the stretch. Ground ball headed to short. Vizquel with the flip to Alomar to retire the side. Rays lead 2 through 8, 13-10 Cleveland. The Rays and the Indians go into the 9th inning. Cleveland leading 13-10. Mike Duvall, pitcher number 5 for the Devil Rays, following Witt, Ricard, White, and Yan. And he'll face the shortstop, Omar Vizquel, who's been on base 3 times tonight. He has 2 hits, has scored 3 runs, and driven home a run. And goes after the first pitch, lifting a fly ball into left field, not too deep, toward the line, and Trammell is there to grab it. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 9th. The Devil Rays in the bottom of the 9th, due to have Paul Sorrento lead off, then John Klarity and Dave Martinez do. Right now, the Devil Rays are down by 3 runs. Here's Roberto Alomar. He goes after the pitch and drives it back into center field. Lowry on the run, still going, going to be over his head. 1 hop and up over the wall out there. A 2-base hit as Alomar 1 hops the wall for a double. That's his 2nd double tonight, gives him 30 for the year.
Well, how about that for Robbie Alomar? He switches over to hit right-handed and doesn't even give Mike Duvall a chance to get ahead of him. Just jumps right on it. Fastball in the middle of the plate. From both sides of the plate, this guy is doubly dangerous.
Now Manny Ramirez will be intentionally walked. Ramirez, who's had quite a night, including 5 runs batted in. He has 113 for the year. He will now have reached for the 6th straight time in this game. He homered a 3-run first inning home run. He singled home a run and scored in the 3rd, walked and scored in the 4th, doubled home a run in the 5th inning, hit by a pitch in the 7th, and now intentionally walked here in the 9th inning. Runners first and second, 1 out. And Jim Thome, and his big left-handed bat, will step in against Duvall. Thome hit a 2-run home run in the 3rd. The pitch is low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. A double homer run in the 4th inning. Walked in the 5th. Single homer run in the 7th. So between Ramirez and Tommy, they have 9 runs batted in tonight. And a base hit into right field. Alomar will be stopped at 3rd, and the bases are loaded. So the Indians have loaded the bases with 1 out in the 9th. These two teams can play some unbelievable games, and we've had one tonight. David Justice will hit.
They're just not going to let you get close to him. Every time you score and seemingly get right back in it, they put more distance between you.
That's Albie Lopez in the bullpen. Justice swings and sends a base hit into left center field. 2 hops to Lowry. Alomar scores. Ramirez scores into second. Out there. And Tommy goes to 3rd. Justice drives in 2 with a base hit into left center field, and he is cut down trying to go into second base. But he chases home 2 more runs, and he gets into the RBI act. 2 more runs home. It's now 15-10 Cleveland.
Well, just looking at that pitch there from Mike Duvall to David Justice, you get a clear idea as to why he's an outstanding low ball hitter. Although trying to stretch it into 2 is out easily.
So a base hit, 2 runs batted in, and the putout goes 8-6-4. And Larry Rothschild's on his way to the mound again. Richie Saxon is going to be the hitter. So Duvall touched for a couple runs in the 9th inning. And another pitching change coming as Albie Lopez will come on after this Bell South call to the bullpen. Well, the Devil Rays bring on their 6th pitcher of the ball game. Albie Lopez follows Mike Duvall to the hill, brought on with the right-handed hitter Richie Saxon due up. Albie 1-2, makes his 29th appearance.
Richie Saxon.
Things have worked out a little better recently for Albie Lopez, who's throwing the ball very well in his last few outings.
No, he'll get a chance to get a real hot hitter in Richie Saxon out.
And the pitch is in there. A strike call. $15 runs, 19 hits for Cleveland. And the pitch is a strike call, 0-2.
And that's the real difference in Albie Lopez the last few appearances. He is just freewheeling it and letting that natural ability take over. And as a result, he's been getting his pitches to good spots.
Out at 3rd, the runner, Tommy there. And a swing and a miss. He throws it by him at 95 to retire the side. Bottom of the 9th coming, 15-10 Cleveland. Devil Rays come in for their final shot in this wild contest. They are down 15-10. They've been out hit 19-14. And they're going to face Mike Jackson. Jackson on in relief. Alex Ramirez also enters the game to play right field in the place of Manny Ramirez.
Well, Mike Jackson's not the guy you want to have to be facing if you have to put 5 runs on the board in the bottom of the 9th. A fearsome right-hander with great movement on his fastball into the low 90s and possessing what a lot of hitters will say is the best slider, best hard slider in the American League.
Paul Sorrento leads it off and takes the pitch down. A ball to no strikes. Sorrento single homer run in the 5th inning. He's hitting .235 for the year. And bounces this one out to second. Alomar with a pickup and the throw to first in time for the out.
Catcher number 6, John Klarity.
John Klarity is going to be the hitter. Klarity has 2 hits tonight, 2 out of 4 with a run batted in. Of course, the magic moment for the Devil Rays tonight, and Wade Boggs in the 6th when he reached 3,000 hits with a home run. And we'll be chatting with Wade following this contest. The pitch to Klarity is a strike. 1 strike to count. Jackson deals it home. Fly ball lifted into right center. Ramirez and Roberts. It's going to be Ramirez making the catch. 2 gone here in the Devil Ray half of the 9th. So with the bases empty, it's Davey Martinez due up now. Out of all this, the amazing thing is the starting pitchers are still the pitchers of record. 25 runs in this game and 33 hits. The pitch is a strike. Davies singled and scored back in the 3rd. Fouls this one out of play, and the count is 0-2. Jackson, pitcher number 6. Maggie, Haney, Shuey, Rincon, Parse, and Jackson. I think that's 6. A 2-strike count. Maybe stepping back, making Jackson wait. Now the delivery outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The delivery made. Just missed wide. 2-2 the count. Rays down to their final strike. They kept battling back tonight, but this Cleveland offense very powerful, scoring 15 runs. The 2-2 swing and a popper into short center. Alomar goes out, makes the catch, and this game is over. The Devil Rays are up and down in order in the 9th inning, and the Indians have beaten the Devil Rays tonight. The final score is 15-10. The Devil Rays and the Indians have now divided the first 2 games of this series. The Devil Rays winners last night 4-2, and the Indians winners in this one 15-10. The win will go to the starting pitcher Negi, the loss to Bobby Witt. And for the Devil Rays, they strand 7. The Indians strand 10, all before a crowd of just under 40,000 here tonight. A crowd coming here to see if Wade Boggs could get to 3,000 hits, and he did not disappoint. Boggs worked his magic in a gradual fashion. He picked up a base hit in the 3rd inning, a base hit in the 4th inning, and then the home run in the 6th inning. And right now, Todd Callis is standing by on the field with Wade Boggs. Todd?
All right, Dwayne, thank you very much. Wade, you have always said you're living a storybook career. In your wildest imaginations, could you ever have dreamed of what happened tonight for 3,000?
So many questions that I've answered about what it's going to be like, and I never wanted to even think about what it's going to be like to hit a line drive up the middle or a base hit in the hole, and the last thing that I would have ever thought about would have been a home run.
Can you take us through that magical moment, what you're thinking about at 2-2?
Well, facing Haney, he's a sinker, slurvy type breaking ball, and he got to 1-2, and then all of a sudden I got an inside breaking ball and pretty decent swing on it, and then I look up and I said, oh my gosh, that's got a chance to get out of the ballpark, and I said, well, that ball's never coming back. So running around the bases, I was just blowing kisses to my mother, and it was so special.
We saw you just point there between first and second. You'll point again right here. What a moment.
She was watching. She was watching. I've touched that plate a lot of times, but I've never kissed it. So I don't know where that emotion came from. That was just something else.
Wade, I know you're tearing up thinking about your mom, but the one thing Tony Gwynn said last night was the only regret he had was his dad wasn't there. Your dad meant so much to you in your baseball career. He was here. What does that mean to you?
Just the look on his face was priceless. And he was sitting there and that's the world to me right there. That's the world. I'm glad he got to be a part of it, and that's a special moment in my life right there.
When he came down on the field along with your wife Debbie, what did you guys say?
I said, "It's finally over, Dad. We've come a long way since Little League," and he's put in so much hard work and just been there the whole time for me, and I can't thank him enough. And hopefully that 3,000 was just a little bit of thanks to say that I'm very proud of you, Dad.
The other stable force in your life, we saw walking down the steps, Debbie Boggs.
She's been there the whole time, and she's my best friend and my guiding light. And she's the one that's put up with cooking that chicken for all those years. So maybe I can let her cook pork chops or steak tomorrow. I don't know.
You promised us last week after 3,000 you might think about a big steak. You're still going to hold to that?
I think I deserve a steak.
Wade, it's been such an incredible ride from Bayshore and Little League to Cooperstown now. Congratulations.
Thanks. It's been a great ride.
Wade Boggs on a very historic night. Wade, thank you very much. I can't think of a better scenario.
Thank you.
Wade Boggs, everybody. Let's go to commercial. When we come back, Gwen Stass and Joe McGray continue from Tropicana Field.
Welcome back to the Devil Rays postgame report presented by Smirnoff. The Devil Rays beaten tonight by the Cleveland Indians. It's a 15-10 final in a game that took 3 hours and 44 minutes to play. But Wade Boggs coming up with 3 hits tonight, including this home run as we check out the Smirnoff play of the game. A breaking ball against the left-hander Chris Haney, and Wade Boggs joins an elite list as he connects for career hit number 3,000. It comes on that home run, his second of the year, as the Devil Ray third baseman moves into company among the immortals. We'll be back with more in a moment. Let's take a look at the Southern Ford player of the game, and he would be Wade Boggs on the night in which he garners his 3,000th career hit. He goes 3 for 4 tonight, drives in 4 runs, and drove the home run out in the 6th inning for hit number 3,000, connecting off the left-hander Chris Haney, acknowledging his late mother there as he rounded the bases en route to a reception with his teammates, his son, his wife, and his father Win, as Wade Boggs gets to 3,000 hits tonight. He is our Southern Ford player of the game.